Okay, folks, we are live on Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and as well as Telegram. Um, we're doing a rebroadcast of last night's show. The reason we had pull it is because I had a miscommunication. Because what we were trying to do was use it as a teaching tool to show people how they can take a piece of unvetted information that they are trying to verify and use that as a starting point to start finding keyword using keywords from that to search what they're looking for and find some actionable evidence or what otherwise that we could use to verify this piece of information referring to the audio. And that was kind of how I wanted to present it. But there was a miscommunication as to what we were doing on the show, and that's my frustration. And also, I had me and Dottie had spent the whole night prior up all night putting this together, so it was kind of frustrating because we were trying to do it in a way that was inspiring and it would help people be, like inspired to take their power back, because that's kind of what we were trying to do. We like to do our reporting standards based on common court law and precedent. So, like, kind of the way we approach it, folks, is as if we were in a court of law having to meet the burden of proof. But instead of appealing to a judge or a jury, we are appealing to you, the public. And we want you to look at the information and decide. And that's kind of what we do here. We want to bring people their power back, teach them how to use their critical thinking skills, how to use discernment, and other such tools that will help us all move forward as a society in a civilized, rational way through open debate, discussion of the issues, and common consensus that we can all come to based on these discussions. So we're going to start our countdown briefly, and then I will start sharing out the live, and then I'll do a recap on what I just said after we start after the countdown is done, folks. All right, we're at the 1 minute countdown. We'll be getting started here shortly, folks. Today's topic. This is a special report, by the way, that we're bringing to you. We had gotten an audio clip that was interesting the other day on the 24th that we wanted to kind of look at and analyze and see what we could verify with it. Look at a couple other data points. But the whole point of this is we think people have a right to know if this is based in truth at all. We should be aware of it and try and be mindful of it and be prepared. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being prepared as opposed to not. So as such, we're going to look at this information with our viewers. We're going to show you on the air how to take a piece of audio or video and use that as a starting point to get keywords that you can use to start doing searches and come up with something you can either use to verify or debunk a certain claim. So that's kind of what we wanted to do, and that's what we're going to do. We want to teach people how to get their power back and use their own critical thinking skills and using discernment as well, because I think it's important to be objective when you are looking at any data. And I think that's critical for seeing what the mainstream narrative is doing and how they're misusing their power through lies of omission and with the legacy media and such. So, that's kind of what we're seeing here. And I kind of wanted to touch on that because I think it's important. It's important that we are aware of that, folks. And so let me explain. I want to apologize to our viewers for last night's horrible, crappy show and me losing my temper. And when I'm referring to crappy, I'm referring to the fact that I lost my temper. And here, let me explain a little. We were trying to do a teaching set. We were trying to use this audio as a tool to teach people how they can start searching for stuff on their own and either verify or debunk a claim. And that's kind of how I was trying to approach about doing it. And I was trying to explain that, but there was a miscommunication as to what we were doing. There was an assumption that we were making claims, but we were not. We were asking questions and trying to invite people to start looking into this stuff. And because I'm fascinated, I'm anxious to see what we can find on this audio, because if it checks out, that's huge. And the implications of that are huge. So with that being said, shall we begin, you guys? You want to say anything, everybody, before we start the pre-recorded content? Anybody? You guys are muted. Unmute yourselves. You there, Jen?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, content. It was forwarded to me from a really close friend of mine in the UK.
Oh, hold up, Jen. You're cutting out real bad and going real fast. Say that one more time.
Okay,
It's not. Your shit's popping. It's not coming through. It's popping real bad. Try again.
Okay. Yeah, the audio was forwarded to me from a close friend of mine that is in the UK.
Okay, so it's forwarded to you from a friend of yours that's in the UK. Okay, got it.
Yes, so I wanted to make that clear.
So we're still trying, and I've seen that too. There's a couple Telegram groups after we got our copy of the audio. I've seen a few other people post that they had gotten the same thing shared from other platforms. So, it's definitely something to be looking at. I think it's important people are aware of this stuff to see if we can try and piece together some of these things, because people have a right to know. And there's something called situational awareness, and so we need to be aware of stuff like this. Whether it's true or not, we have to all talk about these issues and either come to a consensus about whether we need to whether something's intelligible and actually can be vetted, or whether it can be debunked. But that's the whole point, folks. That's why we come together and have these discussions.
And I would rather not keep this information to myself and have it be valid and then have something happen, because I would be just as complicit. And
and that's why I was feeling the urgency to get this out there as soon as possible. We got it on the 24th. We had worked like a whole day and night putting together this presentation that we're going to show you here in a minute. And me and Dottie worked really hard on it. We worked through the night to put it together. So it was a little bit frustrating when the miscommunication happened. I was like, but we hadn't slept either. I mean, so sleep deprivation, there's no joke either. And when you get to be closer to middle age like I am, you can't freaking do that anymore and still be in your right mind the next day. I can't even do a single all-nighter most of the time these days. I'm so old. But with the age comes experience, and with experience comes wisdom. So but my body can't take things like it used to, folks. So shall we begin?
Let's.
All right. We're going to play this all the way through, folks. We put together a little presentation with a couple plays of that audio for you for context, in case we played it twice, so viewers that jump on after we did the first one can still hear it. And then we're going to go listen to it also again after that, and then pick up keywords on the air. I'm going to bring them up on my screen, type them up so we can have it on a reference, and then we're going to use those keywords to do a Google search and see what we can find. And then we'll talk about it. And then after that, towards the last segment, I'm going to have my my nephew come on with us and tell us what it's like, what the schools are like, what's being taught, what is being done about the bullying. I know he's experienced bullying a bit quite himself, and I want to hear from him and his perspective, because we did cover the school board meeting earlier today, and I think it's important that people hear it from the kid's perspective. So we're going to have him on and tell his perspective on that whole, just from being a student. So I think that's going to be great to have him on. I think it'll provide people in the Valley some insight as to what's going on with their schools, at least from a student's perspective anyway.
Nicaragua? Where's Mama and Papa? There's
alone.
So no Mama, no Papa?
Protecting sources. I'm going to deliver it. It's come from somebody who is in very full contact with a very high up military person. I first heard some of this last month, where the Navy was all put on 3 days leave, and they were to come back and be battle ready, fit for duty. So no hangovers, nothing like that. So sort of thought something might happen then, but nothing major has happened. But what has been happening is that naval people all around the world have been getting into position. The intel that has come through is that this will start in the ocean, and then we will get the EBS. The EBS, the Emergency Broadcast System, will come out. There'll be 7 messages that come out on phones, televisions, any sort of way, radio, any way that those things can be done. Out in the streets, if you're walking around, it will be broadcast on loudspeakers and things that they have available. It will tell you that you have 3 hours to get to your home or to the place that you will spend the next 10 days. 3 hours. This is the part that when I received the information, the person was in tears. And it is really quite powerful. They're saying that in Australia, and I assume this is every country, when the EBS happens, if people are on the street, the reason they want everyone in their homes, off the street, out of the way, is because this is the final blast of the bad players. They won't know that you're not a bad player. Anyone on the street, they have been told, live ammunition, shoot to kill. Please inform your loved ones.
That's pretty heavy.
And make sure that they know the enormity of what is about to happen. So, are there any questions on that?
Trish, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but did your intel mention that it could happen before the supposed election?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So one could say within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Definitely, and maybe even earlier than that. So be prepared. And we've been mentioning it, and we've been talking about this for a long time, but the enormity of what's about to happen, I don't think's reached us. It's a little bit of fun, make sure you've got enough food and water, and as Doug said, everyone can go on a water diet for 10 days, you'll survive. It's easy. But there is a huge enormity, emotional thing with this. So, when you were saying before that we are going to be the ones that are going to have to help people through this, in our own streets, we may become aware of things that we never thought would ever ever happen in our perceived lifetime, let alone where it is. It always happens somewhere else. Well, somewhere else is the whole world, including any country that you're in. Yeah. Graham Henderson, Robin.
Well, I've just got a question, Trish and Jim. If, we've discussed this, as you say, before, but with the likes of my son and ourselves with our cancer treatments, it's a bit risky trying to drive from here to a hospital half an hour or so away at the peril of being shot on site.
Look,
there has to be something that can put us at a little bit more...
The military will be aware of all of that. They will be in coordination with hospitals, with anyone in that situation. You might even be picked up by the military and taken. I don't know how it's going to work, but they're not going to let people suffer that way. Okay, this is just general random wandering around, but obviously there's going to be people who need passage to particular things. Okay, so you're not going to be on your own, and there's probably numbers or whatever you can do to do it. And the military will be in charge of the hospitals. They'll know what's going on. And I just saw that message flash up from T. I'm not sure if that's Tamara, I'm not sure. But absolutely, they'll be in charge of hospitals, medical centres, anything like that. So anything that needs to happen, they'll be aware of it. You won't be left alone.
I just know our life is scary enough at the moment without adding any more to it.
I know. Yeah. So there we go. So just letting people know, if you're new here, if you unmute, I'll know that you want to ask a question. Laurie.
Yeah, do you think that means locked into the actual house, or can you be in your yard and tend to your gardens, etc.?
Well, I guess you could. I guess one of the questions there is that what's going on around the place? Probably where you live, it might be absolutely safe to be out in your garden. But if we're going into lockdown, if we've got people in panic, there may be situations where you don't want to be outside of your house. I just don't know, Laurie. It's never happened. I don't know. But I need to give you that information so that you do take this seriously and don't be silly with it.
Yes, we had been informed some weeks ago about this, so we were aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, so... are you Tamara? Yeah, okay, nice to see you.
I would say, sorry Trish, I would say, although it's a concern, the flip side of that is they don't want gangs of people running the streets and doing whatever they want. And, we've seen that in different parts of the world where, when there's a shutdown with electricity or places have to be evacuated, there's gangs that start looting houses and it just becomes complete anarchy. So, we want this to happen. We want the military to be in control so that there's none of this anarchy taking place and total lawlessness, right? So it's a good thing. Yeah. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Plus also you're going to have people who aren't prepared for this. They didn't know about it. They won't have food at home. They live down at Macca's or wherever it happens to be. They won't understand that, yes, you can go 10 days, 40 days just on water without food, but they're going to be looking for food, and looting, all that sort of thing will take place. So it's about being aware and being prudent. Just take precautions, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Because we've all got a job to do at the end of this. We need everybody, so take good care. Okay, doesn't seem to be any more questions, and thank you for your help there, Tamara. That was great.
Can I just add something to everyone? I also work with the elders across the nation as well. So if anyone is aware of any elders and they want to ask questions or want to connect in with other elders, please just, Trish, I'm not sure how I can share my details with you. I'm on Telegram. I'll just see what my Telegram thing is, so if anyone wants to, because they're going to play a big part in the future of this. From my understanding, it actually goes back to them because their land was never sold. There's no bill of sale. There's no treaty. So all of the nations that they had, it's not the nations that you'll say welcome to country, because a lot of them are actually languages, not the names through the native titles and the councils renaming things. But the true elders on each nation know who they are. They already, a lot of them have had visions. They know what's going on. They don't need some looking glass technology. They've got it within their DNA. They know what needs to be fixed on the land. They know what needs to be fixed with the water. They're already doing work. There's a lot of elders I know that are out on country at the moment doing the spiritual work, spirit first or physical. So I'll find my details if anyone across the continent is on this call that's in touch with any and they want to get in touch with me. I've got some elders coming to visit my place tomorrow who've got contacts as well. So I just want to be able to connect in with as many as possible so we can give them the support that they need during this and after the event as well. So.
Awesome. All right. Well, if you want to put that in the chat and people can take that down. Okay. Lovely. All right. Okay. So, like I said before, there are a couple of people on here who are quite new to it. So I thought we might just go back to the beginning.
Before we finally win this battle, and I should hasten to say that there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to win. I'm increasingly convinced of this. But before we finally do see victory, we must carry the truth to every man, woman, and child in America. It's literally a question of life and death for all of us. And it's about time the American people began to face up to that fact and to act accordingly. I have no idea of what each of you is going to do in the critical days that lie ahead. It may be much, it may be little, it may be nothing at all. I don't know. Only you can answer that question. But ladies and gentlemen, whatever it is you decide to do for your country, do it soon. Do it now. Every minute that you delay further will add dearly to the price of ultimate victory.
That was over 50 years ago, Mr. Griffin. Where are we now?
Hearing that phrase after all these years is kind of a shocker, because I didn't realize really at the time how accurate it was going to be. But we're in the middle of it now, and so the ultimate victory is still ahead of us.
In your opinion, who are some of the key figures behind this agenda?
In my view, the enemy is in a category called collectivism, and that's the word that applies to all of these things: socialism, communism, fascism, Nazism. All of these things are merely variants of collectivism. That is the philosophy based on the assumption that the group is more important than the individual, and that the individual must be sacrificed if necessary for the greater good of the greater number. That's the trick there. You're doing this for society. And then at a higher level, the ideological level, well, helping the poor, helping the downtrodden, that's not so much on fear, but it's based on compassion. And this is where it really works. Because if they convince people that if you act in your own self-interest, if you want to take care of your own family, that somehow you are selfish, and nothing could be further from the truth. Those of us who have discovered this trick long ago, we realize that enlightened self-interest comes into play. If you are acting out of self-interest, you soon discover that the best way to benefit yourself is to help other people. It does come back. the greater good of the greater number comes only when the individual is valued above the group. They're trying to divide us along race and religion and economic status and all these things. No, don't go for that. We've got to realize that we all are humans. We have one thing in common for sure, and that is that we want to be free. That's the melting pot. That's the gyroscope that will bring humanity together. And these powerful forces, I don't care how much money they create out of nothing. I don't care what their occult status is. That'll be washed away by humanity if it just gets united. It was always the very small minority. History has always been written by the 1% of the population. 15% of the population create history, and they follow the leadership, the thought leadership of 1%. But that 15% altogether is what changes history. And so all we have to do is reach 15% of the population. I think today, after all this time, we have more than 15%. We just have to get them together so they realize that they're not alone.
Protecting sources.
And that's our task right now.
I'm going to deliver it. It's come from somebody who is in very full contact with a very high up military person. I first heard some of this last month, where the Navy was all put on 3 days leave, and they were to come back and be battle ready, fit for duty. So no hangovers, nothing like that. So sort of thought something might happen then, but nothing major has happened. But what has been happening is that naval people all around the world have been getting into position. The intel that has come through is that this will start in the ocean. And then we will get the EBS. Now, the EBS, the Emergency Broadcast System, will come out. There'll be 7 messages that come out on phones, televisions, any sort of way, radio, any way that those things can be done. Out in the streets, if you're walking around, it will be broadcast on loudspeakers and things that they have available. It will tell you that you have 3 hours to get to your home or to the place that you will spend the next 10 days. 3 hours. This is the part that when I received the information, the person was in tears. And it is really quite powerful. They're saying that in Australia, and I assume this is every country, when the EBS happens, if people are on the street, the reason they want everyone in their homes, off the street, out of the way, is because this is the final blast of the bad players. They won't know that you're not a bad player. Anyone on the street, they have been told, live ammunition, shoot to kill. Please inform your loved ones.
That's pretty heavy.
And make sure that they know the enormity of what is about to happen. So, are there any questions on that?
Trish, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but did your intel mention that it could happen before the supposed election?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So one could say within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Definitely, and maybe even earlier than that. So be prepared. And we've been mentioning it, and we've been talking about this for a long time. But the enormity of what's about to happen, I don't think so reach it. It's a little bit of fun. Make sure you've got enough food and water, and as Doug said, everyone can go on a water diet for 10 days. You'll survive. It's easy, but there is a huge enormity, emotional thing with this. So when you were saying before that we are going to be the ones that are going to have to help people through this, in our own streets, we may become aware of things that we never thought would ever happen in our perceived lifetime, let alone where it is. It always happens somewhere else. Well, somewhere else is the whole world, including any country that you're in. Yeah. Graham Henderson, Robin.
Well, I've just got a question, Trish and Jim. If, we've discussed this, as you say, before, but with the likes of my son and ourselves with our cancer treatments, it's a bit risky trying to drive from here to a hospital half an hour or so away at the peril of being shot on site.
Look,
there has to be something that can put us at a little bit more...
The military will be aware of all of that. They will be in coordination with hospitals, with anyone in that situation. You might even be picked up by the military and taken. I don't know how it's going to work, but they're not going to let people suffer that way. Okay, this is just general random wandering around, but obviously there's going to be people who need passage to particular things. Okay, so you're not going to be on your own, and there's probably numbers or whatever you can do to do it. And the military will be in charge of the hospitals. They'll know what's going on. And I just saw that message flash up from T. I'm not sure if that's Tamara, I'm not sure. But absolutely, they'll be in charge of hospitals, medical centres, anything like that. So anything that needs to happen, they'll be aware of it. You won't be left alone.
I just know our life is scary enough at the moment without adding any more to it.
I know. Yeah. So there we go. So just letting people know, if you're new here, if you unmute, I'll know that you want to ask a question. Laurie.
Do you think that means locked into the actual house, or can you be in your yard and tend to your gardens, etc.?
Well, I guess you could. I guess one of the questions there is that what's going on around the place. Probably where you live, it might be absolutely safe to be out in your garden. But if we're going into lockdown, if we've got people in panic, there may be situations where you don't want to be outside of your house. I just don't know, Laurie. It's never happened. I don't know. But I need to give you that information so that you do take this seriously and don't be silly with it.
Yes, we had been informed some weeks ago about this, so we were aware of it.
Mm-hmm. And so are you Tamara? Yeah, okay, nice to see you. So
I would say, sorry Trish, I would say, although it's a concern, the flip side of that is they don't want gangs of people running the streets and doing whatever they want. And, we've seen that in different parts of the world where, when there's a shutdown with electricity or places have to be evacuated, there's gangs that start looting houses and it just becomes complete anarchy. So, we want this to happen. We want the military to be in control so that there's none of this anarchy taking place and total lawlessness, right? So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Plus also you're going to have people who aren't prepared for this. They didn't know about it. They won't have food at home. They live down at Macca's or wherever it happens to be. They won't understand that, yes, you can go 10 days, 40 days just on water without food, but they're going to be looking for food, and looting, all that sort of thing will take place. So it's about being aware and being prudent. Just take precautions, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Because we've all got a job to do at the end of this. We need everybody, so take good care. Okay, doesn't seem to be any more questions, and thank you for your help there, Tamara. That was great.
Can I just add something to everyone? I also work with the elders across the nation as well. So if anyone is aware of any elders and they want to ask questions or want to connect in with other elders, please just, Trish, I'm not sure how I can share my details with you. I'm on Telegram. I'll just see what my Telegram thing is, so if anyone wants to, because they're going to play a big part in the future of this. That, from my understanding, it actually goes back to them because their land was never sold. There's no bill of sale. There's no treaty. So all of the nations that they had, it's not the nations that you'll say welcome to country, because a lot of them are actually languages, not the names through the native titles and the councils renaming things. But the true elders on each nation know who they are. They already, a lot of them have had visions. They know what's going on. They don't need some looking glass technology. They've got it within their DNA. They know what needs to be fixed on the land. They know what needs to be fixed with the water. They're already doing work. There's a lot of elders I know that are out on country at the moment doing the spiritual work, spirit first or physical. So I'll find my details if anyone across the continent is on this call that's in touch with any and they want to get in touch with me. I've got some elders coming to visit my place tomorrow who've got contacts as well. So I just want to be able to connect them with as many as possible so we can give them the support that they need during this and after the event as well. So
awesome. All right. Well, if you want to put that in the chat and people can take that down. Okay. Lovely. All right. Okay. So, like I said before, there are a couple of people on here who are quite new to it. So I thought we might just go back to the beginning.
Well, that was interesting, folks. I think that was definitely worth paying attention to. So next, let's just kind of talk about what everybody's perspective is on that. What do you think is going on? And that was a great catch, Jessica, that you caught. You said that lady had mentioned she is on Telegram. So now we got to find out where's her Telegram channel to follow that lead.
Yeah. Don't they call her Kate or something like that in the video? They say somebody calls her by a name.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be a good starting point.
Not to that part yet or not, but somebody says Kat or Kate or something to her, I think.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That might be her name. I don't know. We'll have to see if we can find that. Interesting.
That could be helpful though.
Yeah, definitely. I took notes too. So we can try and find out. So I put Navy, Australia, UK, though, so she's got it sounds like she has the Australian. It could be a UK accent because a lot of Australian from what my buddy was telling me, that's where, Australia was a prison colony, folks. For those that don't know your history, it was Botany Bay. That's how the continent became a country eventually. It was originally a prison colony, folks, for all the British people that were exiled.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yes.
I didn't know that either.
Yes. So for context, folks, you have, that's why a lot of times you have a very similar accent with your Australian accent and your Wiltshire UK accents.
Whoa.
It was one my buddy was telling me.
Wow. Okay.
And I made that same assumption, and so that's from somebody out of the UK. So he's either UK or Australia, but one of the two. But either way, it sounds like she said that they were referring to Australia until she got it from that country. So one could assume that she might be from there. I don't know, but they're saying it might be a global thing. It's happened globally. So that's what we're trying to figure out. Because here's the thing: for those that don't know, and haven't been following the Nassar Jassara thing and the whole EBS and White Hat intel or rumors that everybody's been hearing. This is what we've been all hearing about for over a year, but nobody's could really tell for sure when it was going to happen or whatever. But this is the first bit of anything that we've had from anywhere suggesting that we might be close to it. So that being said, this what this lady was getting at from my perspective, from what I was getting, was she was talking about the EBS system that's going to go into place when the white hats make their move to take down all the remaining corrupt officials that have not yet been gotten, to finally put an end to all this corruption and trafficking and all this other shit that's going on. So that's what everybody's been kind of waiting on. So as Ellis Collier would say, I'm waiting, sitting on the G, waiting on the O. So yeah, that's just a little context there for you folks. So that's what we're thinking this is. We're not saying it's an EBS for a foreign invasion of another military into another country or anything like that. That's not what we're suggesting at all. We're talking about those what was the trigger? Everybody okay?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
What did I say?
Oh, about Australia. Nothing like anything bad. It triggered something that I was watching that puts like the stolen history into context.
Oh, it triggered the synchronicity, you mean?
Yeah, like something like I was watching this thing and it just like triggered something for me that about the stolen history and how it's clicking even more. It makes more sense.
Nice. So I thought you were meant trigger in a bad way, like I triggered something I said.
No.
Like, I was like, wait a minute, wait, what?
I didn't know that about Australia, but it really kind of like put some stuff into perspective for me.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, that's great. That's what it's all about. That's the whole reason that we do what we do, folks. That's why we put together these presentations, because you learn something new every day. Like Dottie didn't know that about Australia. Some people don't.
It makes sense about our stolen history and what I've learned.
It did, and it gave you that extra insight that confirmed what some stuff that you were already suspecting. So that's the whole point of doing these broadcasts. We're not making any claims. We're asking the questions so that we can get more answers and then finally figure out what's going on, folks. That's the whole point, isn't it, Dottie?
Yes, that is the point, because
the whole point is to enlighten people and to make people think. We are. Yep, absolutely.
We gotta figure it out.
Hey, yeah, I want to. I'm gonna let. Can I? I just want to let my nephew say hi. He's gonna give us toward the end of the show a brief rundown of what it's like in the Clark County School District system right now in the schools. What's going on with that? So here, sit down and say hi. Sit down in the big chair. Just introduce yourself. Just say hi to everybody. I want you to feel welcome.
What time is it there?
It is a little bit past midnight.
Oh, is he keeping you up?
Well, it's a weekend. We got a 3-day weekend this week.
Oh, 3-day weekend? Awesome. That's cool.
He's a little shy.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, I've been on here before, but I've never
Well, you've never sat in a big chair, so
never.
So go ahead.
You're in the big chair.
Hey, kiddo.
Hey.
And
what's going on?
Update on the robotics
thing
that you're helping your whole team with, right?
Yeah, I'm basically into the robotics competition, helping them.
So they can hear you.
I'm in the competition, helping them edit and code all their robots. So basically, they could learn mostly all the things I've learned. So all these kids in 5th grade are some of them are autistic and they're trying to get into robotics. So basically, I'm helping them out with it. Helping them how to code and how to do all this stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell our viewers briefly about the bullying issue. Remember the story you told me about where that girl got hurt, got stabbed by one kid, and what you did? Tell them about that, and then tell them about the bullying that's going on and what they tell you to do, so people can get a better understanding of how ineffective how they're currently dealing with it is.
So basically, a girl last year got stabbed with a pencil by getting sexually assaulted, making her uncomfortable, and basically they didn't do anything but switch him into a different class.
He didn't even get expelled, did he?
No, he didn't get transferred or anything.
He didn't get suspended or transferred or
expelled?
Shouldn't he be expelled from school for sexually assaulting somebody?
Well, tell them what you told me about you carrying her to the nurses. And then what the nurse said when she was trying to tell you close, and then I was like, hello to this girl, and the girl needs help.
Yeah, I took her to the nurse's office, and I basically she needed help getting to the nurse's office because she couldn't walk. So I took her to the nurse's office, and the nurse told her, "You can't go in the nurse's office right now." And then she wiped blood all over her window, and that's when she jumped up and opened it. And all she gave her was bandages and an ice pack.
Okay.
Wow.
Tell them about that time that happened last year where three kids were bullying you and trying to fight with you, and you defended yourself, and then what what the teacher was telling, or what they were trying to tell you to do, what do you do when you can't walk away all the time, because sometimes it makes it worse.
Basically, 3 kids tried to get into a fight with me, and all I did was defend myself. And when I basically kicked their butt, they say, when you get into a fight, all you need to do is walk away. And how we're thinking is, how are you supposed to just walk away from a fight? Like, how are you supposed to just walk away from a fight when they start it, and like they're forcing you to fight them?
And they're looking for it too.
And then we get in trouble for fighting them. And
for defending yourself.
I went to the principal's office, and the other kid just got a citation.
Yeah, they were trying to suspend him for freaking defending himself, but yet meanwhile, this kid that stabbed some other kid is not even getting expelled.
Wow.
Tell me that's not a 2-tier justice system.
Exactly like what we're
of it.
doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's hypocrisy is what it is. Anything else you want to talk about? Tell us about. We covered the school board meeting today.
Yeah,
what are they teaching you guys in school?
Basically, like, they're teaching us all this math stuff, but this is the one thing, is that it's kind of more confusing online, because they just tell us to go on things and tell us to go on this or that. They don't actually explain where it is. Like, they do, but most of the time they'll just get mad because we're on an app and we're not supposed to be where we are, and we're trying to get help.
So, but you better directions then?
Yeah.
For where to go to use some of these apps when you guys are learning, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it probably makes it harder for kids that like learn visually. You know, like I'm a visual learner, and I learned by watching, not by somebody telling me what to do.
Yeah, me too. So one more thing. Are they teaching you guys any kind of political ideologies? Are they teaching you stuff, or trying to teach you stuff that should not be, you know, it's not appropriate, so to speak? You know, like what are they pushing? Like, what are they talking about?
I have a question.
Anything? Go ahead, Dottie. Go ahead, Dottie.
Do they allow the Furbies or the furries or whatever, the kids that are acting like animals in class, do they allow them to be animals at your school, or identify as cats?
I don't think we have a lot of that out here, guys. I don't think he knows what you're talking about. I've heard of that, but yeah.
I'm just curious if they were allowing the people that identify as animals, like cats, to be cats in school.
Like, do they have those?
Well, you know, does it even?
I don't think they let them wear anything they want at school. I think they have a dress code, don't they?
So, but it's the kids that identify like as a cat or identify as a dog, and then they're allowing them to, you know, be a cat or a dog in school.
What we're getting at is, what are they teaching you as far as, you know, sure you've had teachers that talk about, oh, we use your pronouns and stuff. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I actually heard that they were using litter boxes.
What are they trying to teach you as far as that?
I've heard that same thing. I was wondering, is that really something going on in the schools?
That's crazy.
Want to know how they're teaching us?
Well, what are they teaching you on that? What are they saying in the classroom? That's what I want to know.
Well,
or what they saying is, or how are they teaching you? Is it appropriate or is it not appropriate? That's what I'm trying to get.
It's appropriate.
How so? Explain. Give us an example.
Well, basically, maybe they'll talk about like not to do this, but after school words, I could see people in the bathrooms doing drugs. Like,
oh, in the schools?
Yeah.
Really?
After school, in the bathrooms, at the park bathrooms, like at different parks. Like,
how?
Like, basically, they'll come out the bathroom, smoke flying out their mouth.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
A bunch of kids that I knew last year are vaping. A bunch of kids are doing drugs now. They're getting caught with marijuana. They're going in the weed.
What grade are you in?
Bathrooms getting high.
Well, go tell him what grade in here. He just started middle school, so that makes
middle school.
6th grader.
A 6th grader. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I
What
have
are
a
they teaching?
question.
Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Is there anything that they're teaching you that you feel uncomfortable about?
No, not really.
What have you had a health class yet?
No, only 8th graders can go to
Only
health.
8th graders. Okay. So no health class.
That's good. At least they're waiting until at least 8.
Are they letting you talk about God?
No, not really.
No? Okay.
No God talk. No, they don't ever have God talk in school. And they don't pledge allegiance to the flag anymore either.
Do they still do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Wow.
They did that once, only on
Once. We used to do that every morning.
Yeah.
So, okay, did you guys hear that? He said they've only did the Pledge of Allegiance on the first day of school. That was it. They haven't done it since.
Right.
Yeah,
We did that every morning when
yeah, we did every morning. And you know, it's funny. We do that at the school boards practically every meeting. Well, you usually do. And funny thing to be said, I didn't see them do that this time.
This is really interesting.
I don't think. But yeah, I thought that was fascinating because I was wondering about that. I had asked that question when they in one of the school board meetings I covered. I was like,
do kids bring weapons, or is there a lot of weapons that brought to school?
There was one kid that brought a butterfly knife to school and started threatening people that he was gonna hurt them with it.
Was he in trouble after that?
Yeah, they actually expelled him.
Well, he got expelled from school.
Yeah.
Huh.
but not the kid who stabbed the girl.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
I wonder what made it so different in the two subjects. Like, I guess because of the way their policies may be written, I wonder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're racketeering the sped money, imagine how much they're misusing everything else.
Or maybe the kid that
was that kid in sped?
Maybe the kid that
no, I'm saying they're racketeering the sped money is what they're doing. So if they're racketeering that money, imagine what else they're racketeering and what else the kid help the kids aren't getting that they need.
I'm saying the kid that they didn't suspend, was he a part of that program, and the one that they did expel from school wasn't a part of that program? That's what I'm wondering, because don't they get so much money per kid?
Yeah, like
special ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, was he part of that program? That one that kid that stabbed that girl?
No, but this is like ever since that he hasn't done anything crazy now. Like he's bad, but like
well, they should have expelled him for doing that. If he wasn't in the sped program, there's no reason they shouldn't have done that.
I don't like he didn't stab her to the point where she's actually like bleeding to death. Like she had blood. Like,
is that kid special?
But stabbing's wrong.
But
yeah, he could have.
Stabbing altogether is just wrong.
The only reason that they wouldn't be.
It's just a little more pressure, and then she could have died.
So basically, that kid was not part of the sped program, is what he said.
Either one of them were.
That kid would sexually assault all the girls in my class, all the females. Like,
and they still hadn't expelled him?
Like literally.
That's bullshit.
When we had a whole little meeting in my classroom, and my teacher asked us, has he sexually assaulted you? Has he done anything to you? All the girls raised their hand and told him.
Wow.
He would.
And they still didn't expel this kid. That's amazing. Holy crap.
Like basically
and that was in your 5th grade class.
Yeah, 5th grade.
Wow.
Only he actually threatened one of my friends to go in the bathroom and take off all her clothes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So did anything happen to the girls that he was threatening? Like, did they receive any kind of discipline or anything like that that you know of, that you can remember?
Did what?
Did the girls and your friends that was like that he threatened to assault, did they get into any trouble at all?
No, they just went to the principal's office and they told him what they did, but obviously the principal didn't do anything.
Right.
They didn't even call their parents?
No, the parents got mad. The parents got really mad.
Yeah, rightly so.
You're right. I was just curious because a lot of times it's people that, come forward that to tell about being hurt at school, they get in trouble. So I was just wondering if maybe that happened and that other girls are scared to tell.
Like, all of us were quiet because he would bully all the boys, and he would always say all these things to us, that he was gonna hurt us, and if we touched him again, he was gonna hurt us again or kill us or do this. But like when it came, like, we were quiet because we were scared of what he was gonna do.
Right.
And basically that kid was my friend.
Oh,
And then
wow.
when I found out what he actually does, we don't hang out anymore. Like, I don't hang out with him anymore.
Smart
His
kid.
parents are probably really mean to him, is why he acts like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually why people act a certain way when they do, you know.
But I think the girl's parents all pressed charges on his parents.
Good.
Like, they did some.
Good.
But you want to know what actually happens now? He has to go to a personal class in middle school now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of what he did.
Oh, by himself? Well, that's good. That's good. At least he can't hurt anybody else.
He just the thing, he goes to the gym with people, but this is what happens. Every time he goes to the gym, he always does something. He has to do 5 push-ups.
Well, that's good. Well, do you hear that? That's promising. I'm encouraged to hear that.
But
Speaking to the mic so they can hear you.
yeah.
Tell them again what you just told me.
Basically, he has a personal class now, so basically he can't really do anything to people. But after school words, like, you could see him smoking vapes and stuff and doing all this stuff. But last year he actually flinched his fist at my teacher, like he was gonna hit her. Yeah, he was behind her.
Speaking to the mic.
He was behind her, and
so I won't hear you if you're too far away. So go ahead and make sure you lean into it.
So basically, he was behind my old teacher, and he flinched his fist at her, like he was about to hit her.
So now he has class by himself?
Yes.
Yeah, he has personal class. These are what he did.
Do you guys switch classes in 6th grade? Do you have lockers and stuff?
Yeah, like English, but like we got to choose what classes we had. So yeah.
So yeah,
that's cool. Are you enjoying your first year in what that could be considered junior high?
Yeah.
Do you like junior high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a red flag. That kid doing all that is a red flag. I'm wondering how bad his home life is.
I've never seen a kid actually do all that.
Yeah, I've never, and your age especially, I'm wondering how bad his home life is. And what
that happened when he was in 5th grade. That was last year. So like, and they didn't even, they just switched classes for that time. They didn't even do what they were doing in the middle school, give him his class by himself. They should have done that.
He's in middle school where they switch classes and he has a classroom by himself.
And that just disgusts me what he did. Like, everybody was just disgusted.
On this kid.
Yeah.
There's a program that he's not part of.
Yeah, I know.
Otherwise it won't pick it up.
I know, yeah.
All this fraud that they're calling him out on already.
But yeah, he, like, my teacher was even disgusted. Like, everyone was crying that time.
Wow.
What do you think they need to do? What do you think they need to do in the schools to make it safer for you guys to go feel safe at school, so you don't have these bullying problems or these kids that are acting like that? What would help? What would work? What would make you feel safe? What do you think the school board? Because I cover the school board, so like there was some of these people are watching. What would you recommend they do?
Have more hall monitors to watch the kids, because basically they just pay attention to the bathrooms and they don't even pay attention to what like the kids do.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
Basically they do, but they'll only do it if a teacher tells them that something's happening.
That's it?
Yeah. Or if they see a pile of kids all over the place. And basically all I see is people go to detention and come back.
Okay. So it doesn't do anything.
No.
So are there other older kids that are in these halls that would do older groups of kids in higher grades?
Yeah, there is.
And is there, how many adults would you say that are around? Like, say if you, when is there a time that you can't really see that many adults and there's all kinds of older students around?
There's 3 people in the outside hallways in each hallway.
I'm just wondering about the adult supervision around, like you 6th graders with the 7th graders and the 8th graders, and what grades are in your school?
6th, 7th, and 8th.
Okay. Mm.
Yeah, because some middle schools only have 7th and 8th and 6th.
Right. Yeah, they don't. Because I remember when I transitioned into middle schools, what we called it was 7th and 8th grade, and then 9th grade was high school.
They call it secondary school, don't they? In some places.
Yes, yes. So I was just curious, and my youngest daughter was bullied, and there wasn't that much adult supervision when it came time to going from the school bus to her classroom. So I was just curious, like how many adults supervise you and other older kids in the event that something had happened and you needed help. I mean, do you feel safe, like you could run to somebody and get help if you needed to?
Yeah, and this thing, I don't like to fight people, and I only do it for defense only. But I mean, if I'm cornered and there's like somebody cornering me, that's when I like get ready. And
what did I teach you about fighting?
Like
what were we talking about in the patio? When you never start a fight but always finish it.
Yeah. And like I'll tell them that like we could just settle this and talk about it, but they never agree to it. They just like there's kids that just fight for no reason and just like fight because they're mad. Like there's kids that just go up to somebody and punch them in the face.
What do you think the problem is? Why do you think they act that way? What do you think the issue is there? Is it think it's their home life, or
it's probably the home life and like things around them, anger, and there's kids. Even my own best friend's older brother, he's on drugs.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Like, they'll go in the bathroom, and one time I went in there one time to use it, and it's disgusting in there. Like, old vapes in there, like glass everywhere. It's just disgusting.
Oh.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, just like old vape pipes and like pipes and bongs and all this like different.
Wow.
Yeah, cigarette boxes all in it.
How about any kind of, is there any needles or any kind of like, anything like that? Like
there was
syringes?
this like syringe kind of needle.
In the bathrooms at school?
Yeah. No, not in the school.
Outside the school?
Yeah, at the park, one of the park ones.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not surprised because freaking a lot of people go through there. Yeah, there's that's gonna be that's to be expected in park bathroom, of course.
And it's a public park.
No, yeah, no, that's to be expected. But you're saying you've seen your classmates doing drugs in there.
Not like really, it's mostly the 8th graders, not
okay. But kids from your school is what I'm saying.
Some kids that from last year that I know are on drugs now, math, like all those.
Jeez, they're on meth.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
meth.
Oh my god.
In 6th grade?
Yeah, meth.
Wow.
They're literally like you see kids rubbing their noses when they come out. Literally, like rubbing their noses.
That's a telltale sign right there.
Yeah. It's like they're doing meth, all this like.
That's horrible.
It's just it's crazy, and I try to stay as far as I away from that because I'm not trying to be like that. Right. I'm really not.
Because you've seen what it's done to your mama and your family members, right?
Yeah.
How it's affected them.
Yeah.
We've all been affected by how people's
done that to all my family too.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing they got better. But like these kids over here is just like.
But you already know what happens to people when they use like that, because
Yeah.
But that's good though, because you need to be aware of that stuff so you don't have to go down that road.
Yeah, it's because like they think Matthew, like there's this one thing I think they call it Matthew. Like this one drug. I don't know why they call it Matthew, but it's like this one drug, I guess. And
is that the code for it maybe?
Yeah. They go over there and they say, "Hey, you want some Matthew? You want some Matthew?" I'm saying it wrong. It's Matthew. It's they're going over there like you could see them from this little bridgey thing. Like they go over there and hand each other bags, like little mini plastic bags, like this small.
What's in the bags? Have you ever seen the bag?
I don't really see it. Like they just go up to each other, hand it to each other. It's just like
okay.
Yeah. But I stay away from it.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, be careful.
You want to say any last words before signing off, and then we'll get to our little Google search, you guys, for the segment we did, so we can show people how to start utilizing that.
Yeah, basically, I think they should actually punish the kids because like try to keep them out of school because they're getting kids to go over there and like actually trying to get them on drugs.
Other kids?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They're trying to get other kids on drugs.
Of course they are.
And
That's
then
a problem.
there was this one kid and he's saying, I don't he kept saying this. I don't do drugs. I smoke the plant weed.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
little different.
Yeah, but like he's young.
How old?
I don't know.
Well,
but
still,
like
a kid being that young shouldn't be smoking either.
Yeah, until you're 21, your brain's not fully developed, and it won't finish fully developing if you do.
Yeah, there's kids over there drinking alcohol too.
Jesus. Excuse my language.
God.
Like
That's liver
literally,
problems and all kinds
like-
of things to come.
not that much because I've seen like how it is like that little a bottle.
They're probably drinking freaking shots.
God.
And it's mostly the 8th graders that do that. It's none of the 6th or 7th, but the 6th or 7th, they're vaping and smoking. That's it.
Well, all I can say is, this is just systemic of like what like it never was that bad when I was growing up. Was it for you guys? I mean, there was problems, but not like not that bad. I don't think.
No.
No, I remember initiation, like somebody, like putting my books in the garbage can or something like that, but never anything to what you're going through. And hey, just let you know, we're out here fighting for you guys.
Yes, we
for
are.
you and your friends to have a safer school, safer community, safer. So thank you for being brave and coming on here and coming on camera and just telling us your experience.
Yeah.
Because she stood home and took care of grandma that one time, and I had to go cover the school board meeting, so don't blame her, okay?
Yeah. And it's good because I've your uncle. I watched your uncle.
She didn't tell me that you had a rehearsal until after.
Oh yeah, on December 5th.
But don't put that on her. Like I had no idea. If I had known, I would have made arrangements to do it.
Oh no.
But I had to cover that school board meeting that day, and she didn't tell me that you had rehearsal. I had
no
no idea. She missed it.
Yeah, I was gonna have rehearsal. When's that?
It was 2 Thursdays ago.
Oh no, I asked her if she can come over and play my violin.
It wasn't a rehearsal thing?
No.
Okay.
My first rehearsal is December 5th.
Okay. So I thought she missed your rehearsal.
Yeah.
Because of me. Okay, never mind then. No.
Okay. But I just
I
wanted
was feeling all bad and shit.
I wanted to say one thing, if I could, and then Jessica and Dottie, if you guys wanted to talk.
Yeah, go ahead, you guys.
Is that I watch your uncle do these school board meetings, but I've got to say this, that I've got more from what you have said than any of that coming from your perspective. And I'm proud of you for coming and speaking up. That's amazing. I mean, we're getting it from the adult and the technicalities and all of that stuff, but actually hearing it from you is so powerful to me. Thank you.
It is.
Right on, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
That was awesome. You did great, buddy. You can stay and watch the rest of the show if you want. You're nervous?
I was.
I don't think he was expecting me to put him on the spot in the chair today, but he just told me he's nervous. He's like, I was nervous.
He did really, really good for being nervous. Couldn't even tell.
I wanted you to sit in the chair. I wanted you to sit in the captain's chair, bro.
Do you hear me?
Some people are, yeah. Go ahead, Jessica. Sorry.
I said he did really good for being nervous. You couldn't even tell.
No, you couldn't. He did a really good job hiding that he was nervous.
Yeah,
I'm proud of him.
He did.
He looked so chill.
He did look chill, didn't he?
Yeah.
He got that cool, calm demeanor.
Mm-hmm. The kid that he was talking about, the kid with his own classroom, you can't tell me that they're not getting paid for that kid in some way to keep that kid in school like that.
Right, something's going on there. Like there was no way. Why, and then you want to talk about
his own classroom. So what is, what I mean?
Come on.
Maybe he is part of that SEG program or SPED program or whatever it's called.
There's got to be some kind of disciplinary program that's used by the school system. It's just probably coded.
Well, it would make sense if they're keeping, they're probably like, oh, well, let's just see, how can we still make money off this kid and not, get away with it? Oh, we'll put him in class by himself so we can still collect money for him.
They might get money for that.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Like just giving him his own classroom and because if someone,
right.
If there's a student with that much that the kids and everybody fear him that much that he's getting his own classroom, when I went to school, there's no way they would keep that kid in school. You know what I mean? Like they would not keep somebody like that in school before, unless they're looking for the next high school shooter or something like that. I just think it's all an agenda, what's going on there with that stuff.
I agree.
I think so too. I think it's like almost a grooming process.
It sure looks like it.
You get your own class if you make an ass, of yourself and do all this shit and disrupt people.
I mean, that's the message it sends to me, to other kids. If you ask me,
you've got a special class, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's something. I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me.
It's not right. It's not right at all. It's not. It's total hypocrisy is what it is. And then they want to talk about just suspending other students for just defending themselves, but yet the bullies that are freaking starting this shit aren't even freaking getting expelled. You get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. That ain't equity. That ain't what everybody in these school boards and teachers don't want to talk about equity, Where's the equity there? I don't see anything but freaking one-sided freaking slanted freaking justice in that. That's a two-tier. That's a microcosm of a two-tier justice system. You can't have equality for one class of people and not have it for the other and call it equity or equality, folks. Okay, there's a difference. Right. Equity and equality. Equality means everybody has the same rights under the law, regardless of their skin color, regardless of their background. Everybody is equal. That's what equality means. That's what fairness is. And you are based and judged on your actions, not your ideals or your ideologies. It
just makes me want to fight that much harder because the kids,
me too.
It's rolling over onto the kids.
It is, and it's not right.
Yep.
I mean, the whole reason we're doing these podcasts is to fight for the kids that don't have a voice,
Yep.
And then also to fight for those people that don't have a voice as well.
I had a kid come on and ask me online, ask everybody for help. And his name was Thompson Douglas. And he's a little patriot. He's always trying to change things for kids for the better.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And he was like begging for anybody to help him. And I helped him. And he ended up getting to go home to his mama, and they fired the CPS worker right in front of him.
Oh, that's great. That's a win. See, doesn't that make you feel good when you're able to make a difference like that?
Yeah.
See, that's why I do what I do. I love helping people. When I can positively affect someone's life in a good way and help them to either get their kids back or help them give them the insight they need to do what they need to do to move forward or heal or whatever, that's what I do this for, dude. That's what I do with the work that I do for. It's a passion of mine. I like to help people. I want to educate people and give people insight, and that makes me feel good when we're reaching people and making a difference.
Me too.
Good deal. That makes me feel real good. I'm really proud of that.
I have found that I heal when I help others.
Me too.
Me too.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. I want to briefly share those two other sources I was talking about, the Elon Musk Bloomberg source, and then the SG Anon post from the 24th, and then I'm going to segue into, we're going to re-listen to that audio clip one more time and jot down some keywords and notes on the screen for us to look up. I'm going to put them on this chat here, I'll show you guys. We're going to type them up on the screen as we go. So I'm going to be putting them up here overlaid for us so that the viewers can follow along and do the search with us if they want. What say you guys about that? Sound good?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds great.
Awesome. All right. So let me bring up these two sources real quick and then we'll get started. Give me 1 second, folks. There's that one. And it's already Friday here. So Elon Musk officially owns Twitter now, folks. The deal has been closed. He owns it.
Wow.
I'm stoked. You know what's next? Me taking Facebook's business. That's what's next.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next move. That's what I'm working on, folks. So it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. I can't wait. Then I'll have a platform to go onto, and I won't have to worry about getting locked out because I tried.
Right. Because you know the creator. You'll know the creator.
Yeah.
We ain't going to censor people like Facebook's doing with their fake checkers, you know?
Right. It'll be like, oh, you're trying to save a kid. Good.
Right.
Instead of, oh, you're trying to save a kid. Let's lock her down.
Right.
Hell.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? How insane these bastards have become. Like, what the heck? Why would you not want to support somebody that's trying to get that information out to help people? You know, the only reason you would censor something like that is if you're afraid
you're involved.
Yep. Right, exactly. All right, so let me share my screen.
Mark Zuckerberg.
So this is the first piece of intel that I had came across after getting the audio on the 24th. This was posted the same day as the day that we got that audio. And there's a reason that this is significant. So one of the theories behind the whole QAnon movement, and let's call it a theory because we don't know, we can't confirm anything yet, but let's suppose that it's right. There's significance in the numbers and the timestamps, basically. So for that reason, from just based on that, what I've seen others do, I thought it was peculiar that this was posted on the 24th, same day we got the audio. And he says, beginning 10/28/2022, I have been given a go-ahead to appear on other platforms and programs. This is necessary to reach wide swaths of the new awakening public, or Gen Pop, for what is happening very soon. Please be advised, if you are an influencer, amateur broadcast program, citizen journalist, or podcaster, I will openly state on the air the truth about the military alliance op, nature of our realms, our Earth, including FE, and the extent of SRA crime and bloodlines. So there's that, and there's a reason that I'm pointing out the date. Okay, now everybody's been wondering what the October surprise is going to be. You know, why hasn't it happened yet? Well, it's my hunch, just my hunch, folks, just my opinion, that something's going to be going down very soon, and it's tied in with this post for a very significant reason, because what Elon was doing when he was going back and forth about wanting to buy Twitter, he was exposing their reliance on bots, folks. That was the whole point of that. It wasn't because he was backing out or this or that. It was solely for the purpose of making Twitter expose themselves before, to the fullest extent that he could expose it before taking ownership and then cleaning up house. And there's a reason that that's significant. It's suspected that because of his company SpaceX and the ability and being the public figure that he is and having the resources he does, it's been it's been suggested that he may be working with the White Hats. So that's the reason I thought it was significant, because I do see something else going on behind the scenes here. So I was just curious. I thought that was interesting because the date here was technically the 25th, I guess, because it looks like it was posted, but my time zone, it was the 24th when I came across this. So based on that, he's also referring to Friday the 28th today. So got two videos, one SGN, one Elon, okay, coordinated with this, two dates, and they got this audio, which we got on the 24th. I thought that was significant and interesting for that reason, folks. So Elon finalized his purchase of Twitter today. That's good news for us, we the people, and good news for no censorship. Free speech, motherfuckers. Yeah. So I'm gonna play that video. one more time. The part we want to play. You guys want to watch that Dottie's video again? I thought that was a great little segment she put together. We'll watch that and then we'll listen to that first audio and go take notes. I think that would be a great way to do it. What do you guys think? That was such a great video too.
Yeah, I think we should start with the video and just watch over again.
Nicaragua? Where's Mama and Papa? There's
alone.
So no Mama, no Papa?
Protecting sources. I'm going to deliver it. It's come from somebody who is in very full contact with a very high up military person. I first heard some of this last month where the Navy was all put on 3 days leave, and they were to come back and be battle ready, fit for duty. So no hangovers, nothing like that. So sort of thought something might happen then, but nothing major has happened. But what has been happening is that naval people all around the world have been getting into position. The intel that has come through is that this will start in the ocean. And then we will get the EBS. Now, the EBS, the Emergency Broadcast System, will come out. There'll be 7 messages that come out on phones, televisions, any sort of way, radio, any way that those things can be done. Out in the streets, if you're walking around, it will be broadcast on loudspeakers and things that they have available. It will tell you that you have 3 hours to get to your home or to the place that you will spend the next 10 days. 3 hours. This is the part that when I received the information, the person was in tears. And it is really quite powerful. They're saying that in Australia, and I assume this is every country, when the EBS happens, if people are on the street, the reason they want everyone in their homes, off the street, out of the way, is because this is the final blast of the bad players. They won't know that you're not a bad player. Anyone on the street, they have been told, live ammunition, shoot to kill. Please inform your loved ones.
That's pretty heavy.
And make sure that they know the enormity of what is about to happen. So, are there any questions on that?
Trish, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but did your intel mention that it could happen before the supposed election?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So one could say within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Definitely, and maybe even earlier than that. So be prepared. And we've been mentioning it, and we've been talking about this for a long time, but the enormity of what's about to happen, I don't think's reached us. It's a little bit of fun, make sure you've got enough food and water, and as Doug said, everyone can go on a water diet for 10 days, you'll survive. It's easy. But there is a huge enormity, emotional thing with this. So, when you were saying before that we are going to be the ones that are going to have to help people through this, in our own streets, we may become aware of things that we never thought would ever happen in our perceived lifetime, let alone where it is. It always happens somewhere else. Well, somewhere else is the whole world, including any country that you're in. Yeah. Graham Henderson, Robin.
Well, I've just got a question, Trish and Jim. If, we've discussed this, as you say, before, but with the likes of my son and ourselves with our cancer treatments, it's a bit risky trying to drive from here to a hospital half an hour or so away at the peril of being shot on site.
Look,
there has to be something that can put us at a little bit more.
The military will be aware of all of that. They will be in coordination with hospitals, with anyone in that situation. You might even be picked up by the military and taken. I don't know how it's going to work, but they're not going to let people suffer that way. Okay, this is just general random wandering around, but yeah, obviously there's going to be people who need passage to particular things. Okay, so you're not going to be on your own, and there's probably numbers or whatever you can do to do it. And yeah, the military will be in charge of the hospitals. They'll know what's going on. And I just saw that message flash up from T. I'm not sure if that's Tamara, I'm not sure. But absolutely, they'll be in charge of hospitals, medical centres, anything like that. So anything that needs to happen, they'll be aware of it. You won't be left alone.
I just know our life is scary enough at the moment without adding any more to it.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, so there we go. So just letting people know, if you're new here, if you unmute, I'll know that you want to ask a question. Laurie.
Do you think that means locked into the actual house, or can you be in your yard and tend to your gardens, etc.?
Well, I guess you could. I guess one of the questions there is that what's going on around the place? Probably where you live, it might be absolutely safe to be out in your garden. But if we're going into lockdown, if we've got people in panic, there may be situations where you don't want to be outside of your house. I just don't know, Laurie. It's never happened. I don't know. But I need to give you that information so that you do take this seriously and don't be silly with it. Yeah.
Yes, we had been informed some weeks ago about this, so we were aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, so, are you Tamara? Yeah, okay, nice to see you. So
I would say, sorry, Trish, I would say, although it's a concern, the flip side of that is they don't want gangs of people running the streets and doing whatever they want. And, we've seen that in different parts of the world where, when there's a shutdown with electricity or places have to be evacuated, there's gangs that start looting houses and it just becomes complete anarchy. So, we want this to happen. We want the military to be in control so that there's none of this anarchy taking place and total lawlessness, right? Mm. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Plus also you're going to have people who aren't prepared for this. They didn't know about it. They won't have food at home. They live down at Macca's or wherever it happens to be. They won't understand that, yes, you can go 10 days, 40 days just on water without food, but they're going to be looking for food, and looting, all that sort of thing will take place. So it's about being aware and being prudent. Just take precautions, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Because we've all got a job to do at the end of this. We need everybody, so take good care. Okay, doesn't seem to be any more questions, and thank you for your help there, Tamara. That was great.
Can I just add something to everyone? I also work with the elders across the nation as well. So if anyone is aware of any elders and they want to ask questions or want to connect in with other elders, please just, Trish, I'm not sure how I can share my details with you. I'm on Telegram. I'll just see what my Telegram thing is, so if anyone wants to because they're going to play a big part in the future of this. That, from my understanding, it actually goes back to them because their land was never sold. There's no bill of sale, there's no treaty. So all of the nations that they had, it's not the nations that you'll say welcome to country, because a lot of them are actually languages, not the names through the native titles and the councils renaming things. But the true elders on each nation know who they are. They already, a lot of them have had visions. They know what's going on. They don't need some looking glass technology. They've got it within their DNA. They know what needs to be fixed on the land. They know what needs to be fixed with the water. They're already doing work. There's a lot of elders I know that are out on country at the moment doing the spiritual work, spirit first before physical. So I'll find my details if anyone across the continent is on this ball that's in touch with any and they want to get in touch with me. I've got some elders coming to visit my place tomorrow who've got contacts as well. So I just want to be able to connect them with as many as possible so we can give them the support that they need during this and after the event as well. So
awesome. All right. Well, if you want to put that in the chat and people can take that down. Okay. Lovely. All right. Okay. So, like I said before, there are a couple of people on here who are quite new to it. So I thought we might just go back to the beginning.
Okay, folks, we took some notes. Obviously, you can see that in the overlay. So we got a few starting points to go from. What did you guys find on Telegram? Were you able to find that her Telegram group, the lady that whose voice was speaking there? Were you able to get any leads there, folks? Jessica, I know you posted a couple things. I can't hear you. I don't know your mic. You're unmuted, but I don't know if are you there? Your audio is not working right.
She may have stepped away. I know she was kind of back from Telegram.
I was asking her if she, because she had posted some links. So I don't know. I thought maybe she heard me because she just unmuted herself. So I was like, can you hear us, Jessica? I know you found some stuff too, Jen. What did you find?
Taking notes. Oh yeah, I didn't really find anything new. I was just taking notes of some of the key words that I heard her say.
Yeah, I put some of those up there too in my notepad when you posted them in the chat too as well. So
okay, I don't know if you got the last thing, the looking glass and the DNA, and there's people that are they're changing the names and fixing the water, something like that.
Jessica just said, I want to read what she put in the chat. She said, "I'm talking. This is weird." So her audio is not working for some reason, and it sounded like, I don't know, weird because speaking of which, sorry, I just wanted to say that so everybody could hear that. Like, think that we're getting interference, folks. But I want to play that video for you after you finish your thought, Jen, about that we had the interference with you the other day. That we had that weird connection, like I couldn't hear you. It was going me. Remember?
Oh Jen? Yeah. That was more than just simple interference. That was absolutely that was ear piercing.
Yeah. Can you hear us now, Jessica?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're like sound far away right now, but I can hear you fine.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I found a couple sites a couple pages that said 10 Days of Darkness, but I didn't find her.
Okay, so we're still looking. Okay. All right, we'll keep hunting and looking for this information. Let's see what we can find just from doing a search terms. Let me play that interference video for our viewers real quick. Let me go find it, and then we'll because I thought it's relevant. I mean, we're getting we've been interfered with before, folks, but we're getting some serious freaking interference the other day when we came across this audio, and I was like, what in the heck? Why are we getting such on this level? And you'll see what I mean when I play this, because this was abnormal. It sounded like the kind of jamming signal you'd hear from freaking like somebody jamming like CIA or some shit. It's kind of shit they would do. And it's happened twice. Happened on a Zoom with me and Jen, and then it happened to somebody else that was talking to Jen from their end. Was that you, Jessica, who it happened to, or was that you, Dottie? One of you guys, right?
That was me.
That was you. Okay, that's what I thought. And you heard the same tone, and I had shared with you that That video from when me and Jen experienced that.
Yeah, only this time it lasted for about a minute until I hung up. It kept going.
Was it really like persistent? Was it like the same pitch that we were hearing on the one that I recorded?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just bringing it up right now. Give me 1 second. There it is. What day was that, Jen? Do you remember?
I think that was the 24th, going into the 25th.
Okay. Yeah, it was. You're right. I got it right here. All right, let me share my screen. Now, this was the other day, folks. This was like the 24th, folks. Same day we got that audio intel, and we were trying to confirm it. It was really weird. It was early. It was right after she shared it with me. It was the oddest thing. Your shit's having a real bad echo feedback. It was going doo 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 doo. Yeah, what the hell is that?
I don't know.
I think we're getting interference, Jen. Jump off the Zoom and jump back on.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it was exactly like that.
You heard it for yourself, folks. That's what I experienced on the 24th. That was extremely odd. I thought that was really strange. So, Jessica, why don't you tell our viewers what happened to you when you heard that same audio? What was that today or yesterday?
It was today, and
that was today.
The exact same way, just like that. Like she couldn't talk at all without it happening.
Oh wow!
And I was like, I can't hear anything you're saying. I was like, I'm gonna call you right back.
Did it go away after you called her back?
Yep.
Okay. And it went away for us too when we had her jump back on the Zoom as well. But that was weird.
I think we were talking about something that was pertaining to this event, I believe.
To the audio, yeah, we were speculating on the audio, and we were throwing out like hypothesis about what from what we'd already seen, and throughout just other research we're doing to kind of see if we could piece together what's going on here, and all of a sudden it was like, what the heck? That's weird. Out of nowhere, out of freaking nowhere, dude. The audio was fine 1 second, and the next it was.
On my end, it was just a staticky, like a.
Yeah, definitely interference. Sounds like to me. Sounds like somebody was doing a directed jamming signal.
Definitely.
To where one party couldn't stay on the line because of the high-pitched noise, and the other couldn't hear anything when they were trying. It was weird. It was really weird.
It was a complete a conversation ender. And
you know what? I want to point. No, real quick. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, it was almost to the point where, I've done some research on some of the old MLK Ultra experiments with sound and what they would do, and that was one of them. Like the really high.
That was the first thing that came to mind when I heard that. Yeah, agreed. Go ahead.
So they don't want to get the information to get out. They just wanted it to be like Steven would just cover his ears, like I can't take it anymore, and just end the call. But we just ended and then started a new Zoom, so they can't shut us up that easy.
They can't shut us up that easy, no.
All right, sorry guys.
Oh no, you're fine. No, and then
no, I'm saying sorry to them for not being able to shut us up like they would like to.
Oh yeah, no, got you. Yeah, sorry, I was like,
sorry, not sorry.
Anyway,
sorry, not sorry.
No, but hey, I want to point something out that else is going on. So I had made these like freaking literally last month. Okay, this QR code doesn't work anymore already. I was just having my nephew try to scan it so he could check out the website, and so I was going to show him my ideas. They shut down on my account on whatever platform I use to fucking make this. It's supposed to be free, and they shut it down for an unknown reason. This account has been disabled. This campaign has been disabled for an unknown reason. Why in the hell would they do that? What the heck? It's supposed to be good for freaking certain many. They're not. Why the fuck would they shut that down? It's a QR code, folks, to our website. It doesn't make any sense. It's supposed to be like a 60-day thing where it's not like it's one of those free open source freaking services. They do it, but there's no reason it should have freaking been shut off like that early. It should have been good for at least another freaking 30 to 60 days.
They're trying to shut us up.
Yeah, exactly. And now I got to go make a new freaking QR code and print out all new cards for it to work now. So yeah, wasting my freaking ink trying to wear down my resources. Well, it ain't gonna stop me, folks. But that's the kind of shit that we have to deal with on a daily basis. Just doing this kind of coverage, folks. I mean, it's really intense. Like people don't even know. Like I've had like 2 hackers trying to remote into my shit, and I caught them in their tracks. But goddamn, I've never had that level of interference before until I started covering the CPS family court corruption issue. So I mean, we definitely are on to something. They're not liking what we're finding out.
Well,
and the problem is they're not hiding it, so it's kind of easy to find if you know what you're looking for.
Right. Yeah, and then what it happened to be the content of what that voice clip was about. That had a lot to do with the interference, I think.
Right, exactly.
I've never had it on that kind of a level.
No, I have not either. And it's like, it makes you really think. And you know, it's funny. Remember I was mentioning to you that earlier that day that I was in my, going to the store, and a guy in a convertible pulled up next to me, and he was, he was looking at me, and he pointed to himself, he pointed back at me, and then pointed back to himself, and he's like, hey, I kind of like gesturing, hey, I see what you're doing. So I don't know. But it was weird because I had a couple possibilities that I thought what he could be saying. Well, he could be saying, hey, I see what you're doing, or he could be saying, I got your back, you got mine, or I'm watching you. So, because this guy had freaking reflective shades on too, and I was like, what? And he was just staring at me until I made my turn. I was like, why is this guy staring at me like that? Like, what's really going on here? And so when I saw the reflective shades, I was like, the first thing I thought was CIA or something, And so like, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know what's going on, but I that was a weird experience. And I had a couple people, around the city, like pull up to me and give me a thumbs up. And, I mean, I know people are paying attention to the work that I'm doing, covering the school board issue and a few other things too. But I don't know. I just was like, it was humbling just to have that guy. But the other guy was like, well, what's going on here? Why was he looking at me like persistent stare? What's going on? I don't know, dude. Is it fandom, or is it a look of freaking oh, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna get you and stop you from putting this information out? Like, I don't know, dude. Like, it was weird because the way it was, I don't know, man. I just thought that was weird, considering it happened the same day that we got this audio and the same day that we had that interference. So I was like, what? Why would some random person come up like that? I mean, I don't know. It just threw me off. I didn't realize that, that I was recognized on that level. I mean, if that's what it was, I was like, huh? I should start watching out, man. Freaking, I'm not trying to have paparazzi stalkers or nothing. My freaking neighbor was joking with me because I was going to cover. I went to cover the school board meeting when I left, and he was out in the yard, with his dog. And I came to drop off my mom's meds and to my sister before heading out to pick up my buddy. And I've been telling him about the work I've been doing. So he, when I got back, right, I'm parked and I'm on the phone. And he's pretending to sit down, and he puts his flashlight camera on to just fuck with me, right? Like he's a paparazzi, right? Like right now, as I'm in my car, my hood, and just fuck with me. I'm like, dude, I'm on the phone. He's like, I'm just fucking with you, bro. It's just my flashlight. And I'm like, yeah, haha, very funny. But yeah, he was busting my chops. He was totally trolling me, pretending to be paparazzi. He's like, oh shit. I was like, dude, I don't want that. Don't make that manifest by pretending that. Come on now, that's the last thing I want is paparazzi stalkers. Anyways, I thought everybody get a kick out of that anecdote. That happened to me today. I thought that was funny. So let's see what we can find on the search with our search terms on this, folks. Okay, so let's start with, can everybody see my screen okay?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. See what we can find here. Start with this one. Okay, we got a 7th Engineer Support Battalion. I don't know. Let's see what we can find. EBS. These are all old. We need newer data related. That's not going to give us much. It's just going to give us some results to EBS. So let's see. It would be really great if we could find out who the original source of that audio was. Victor, I know you're I don't know if you're watching. I sent the link to you. Maybe somebody can tell us. We would love to know. Let's see what else we got. No, this is not going to be related to that. It's something entirely different. That's a unit. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. I don't think we're going to have any luck in finding out any. They're not going to reveal any military awareness stuff going on. That would be stupid and counterproductive if you're in an ongoing op. What, you guys have any ideas what we should type in for search? Because it's kind of like, what can we use to find out where this is from? You guys there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Trying to see, because like it's really vague. We didn't really get anything to go off of there except for a few key phrases, but like nothing, substantial we could really hook onto. What do you guys think? Yeah. That's one of the that's the problem with some of these some of this information. Like you really can't verify how legit it is. You just get a little piece. It sounded like that was part of a big, like a meeting, and they were just we're answering questions. But I don't know. I mean, what can we really verify? So let's go back to
it sounds like a question and answer by like how that webinar with Alex
Collier. Yeah, no, he's been talking about the EBS system for like well over a year. So I've been hearing about this, bits and pieces, but nobody seems to be able to confirm anything, at least as far as a date. And that's okay. Obviously, if it's an active op, which is the supposition or the assumption here, following that train of thought, that they're not going to reveal their play, obviously. So what do we got to do? So how do we go from there to try and verify something that's kind of like intentionally not verifiable by design? So there's a couple of things we can do. Okay, certain keywords. In this case, we didn't really get much here, but let's see what else we can find. So let's see EBS 10 Days of Darkness. Let's see what comes up with that.
And include like 3 hours, because it was going to give them 3 hours to get back home.
Oh, good idea. Good idea. Hold on 1 second, you guys. I'm using an old search engine trick. And when you do this, folks, it will tell the search engine to only include results where all those words are included. Otherwise, you're going to get results for just some of the words, not all of them. This way, you can tell the search engine to only return results that contain these search terms in the page. Okay. Did you see how we got only what we wanted? How quickly that was? I wanted to point that out. Like if you do, okay, see, this is what I was trying to get at. Like when I said use your quotes, it was on a previous show we did. This is what I meant. Use your quotes. So when you do a search in a search engine, when you type in the search without quotes, what the search engine does is it brings up results that contain any of the words in your query. So what you want to do is if you want to only include results that where all those terms are found in your on the page of your query, you put each word between quotes, you put a plus between each of the words with quotes, and then you put in your search, and that'll bring up only results that match all of those words on the page, that it has all those words. Okay, so that's one way to get And of course, it looks like this brought us to some Q posts, okay? Which is kind of where the whole concept of this QAnon movement came from. So I'm going to do a little background, folks. Despite what some of the mainstream may have you believe about what QAnon is nothing more than a movement, and it is the theory that there is an active military op going on behind the scenes, and that there is an active intentional part of that op is to expose hypocrisy and all the absurd corruption of a lot of these officials and people in power that have been complicit in crimes against humanity. With the level of absurdity that and obvious hypocrisy that we're seeing, especially in the last couple of years, it sure seems to me that could be a very possible scenario, just based on the fact that the Mar-a-Lago FBI doctored evidence was so sloppy. One, just based on the fact that everybody's not hiding anything anymore. Two, why has that changed all of a sudden? 2 years ago, why is that different? And what's different about the situation? What changed? Something changed, and so it was either one, they got too confident during COVID, then during all the lockdowns, and thought they could get away with a whole lot more and went off the rails and just stopped bothering to hide it, thinking they could get away with it. Two, there's an active, what I guess you could call it a script, a play, a movie, if you will, of sorts. It's designed to wake up everybody to how things have been and how our whole way of life has been usurped and we've been hijacked, and so that's the other school of thought. And so that following that train of thought would be lead to, and that's what everybody's been trying to follow with these QAnon posts. Okay, the whole point of this is it's in code, and so you're supposed to look at the synchronicities, the time codes, all that. That's kind of what that's all about. So if you actually look at what QAnon is a movement. It's supposed to, according to the rumors, is intelligence op, a military intelligence op, supposedly. I don't know. Nobody can really confirm it, but it is a movement. Anybody that wants to go into look in the origins of 4chan, they will see 4chan is the origins of the anonymous movement itself. But the QAnon movement, a whole other movement that's kind of on its own, that's kind of separate from the anonymous movement. And I wanted to make that distinction because there is a distinction, folks. And I want to make sure we know our facts when we know what we're talking about when it comes to QAnon. So that is a good kind of rundown of what QAnon is, folks, just for context. I think that's important so people understand what we're really talking about, so they don't assume that we're talking about what folks like Megan Fox or others in the legacy media would have us believe. Okay? There we go. History lesson for that done. Okay, so obviously we can't confirm any of this because this is just obviously, but it's good. It's good. A good way to, I wanted to teach people how to get only the results that they're looking for. Okay, that's one way to do it. So let's see what else we can come. Now, like I said, we've been hearing rumors of this for a minute, for a little well over a year now. I don't know. I mean, this one's dated July. Who knows? See, this one was even wrong. What I was talking about, we've been hearing dates drop left and right, but none of these so far have panned out. And so, but this is the first time I've had any audio of anybody claiming to have any real solid intel. So, but it struck my attention because of this post and then this post, and then also what happened to us with the interference, and then that experience I had in my car, folks, which kind of struck me as odd. It's kind of why I took notice of this. I thought it was interesting, but especially that Musk is has officially sealed the deal on Twitter today. I truly think that what he was doing when he was going back and forth was exposing their reliance on bots. I mean, a lot of the posts that I see on Twitter have the telltale signs of bots. I mean, come on, like sometimes it's so obvious you can't even you can't deny it. It's just like, okay, obviously that's a bot.
Hey, will you go back to that second link? I thought I saw where it had the actual words of the emergency broadcast or something.
This one?
No, the second one. Go back to your
this one.
Yes.
This one right here.
No, the one, the second one. Go back to the Google search.
Oh, the search. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
This one?
No, up there where it says Emergency Broadcast Coming World Cycles Institute. I think
Yeah, that's this one right here.
Okay, so
Let me scroll up for you. See, this one was dated July 10th, and clearly they know this is what they were trying to say then, but they were wrong.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's kind of like what I was talking about when we've heard rumors about dates and stuff being dropped, but nobody knows for sure because I've heard that claim before about a date and then it never happened. So like what I'm thinking is why I thought it was significant is this is the first time I've heard any kind of audio like that where someone's claiming that they're in touch, so that's why I was trying to vet it because I thought it was interesting that we would have all those things happen that line up like those synchronicities because it's kind of like in the style that the QAnon post theory or the QAnon movement where they talk about game theory a lot with that. Okay, so think about it like that. Okay,
right.
Game theory, all about the numbers, folks. And you code things a certain way. So, like, I mean, that's why I thought it was interesting because we had those two posts that were like, okay, that's interesting. That would be how they would do it if assuming that the whole theory about the whole QAnon thing is accurate. That would be how you would expect that to be played out. I would expect. So that's why it piqued my interest. What about you guys? What do you think? But what were you saying about this post, Jen? What were you trying to get at? You said it. You thought it said what they would say. Can we go to that on here?
Let me see. I'm trying to look and see. And then if you look, okay, on the previous post, it says Gasara coming, end times something. Place of intrigue. Okay.
This one right here, you mean?
No.
No,
Go back
other
to
one?
the Google search.
This one?
Yeah, there's a previous post and
this one, right?
Yeah, on the right where it says previous post, it has
Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. Okay.
Something like that. That it really kind of piqued my interest in.
Okay. This was dated September 26th.
Something more
okay, they're talking about the supposed quantum financial system here. I've heard of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that was part of that. So
right. It's supposedly supposed to be part of that, yeah.
And then here, and at the bottom of the previous post, it says that genocide on a world scale or something like that. I'm not sure if if they're speaking of the jab or what, because it all, there we go, right there. What does that say? Jesus something. Oh, that must be some neurology there.
Where they're right here?
Yeah, it looks. I think that's neurology.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He's trying to do. Yeah, but like I said, a lot of this is based on game theory and on like the QAnon movement and what they were based in their intel. Like it looks like because this is how they're talking about. I don't know how. I mean, you can only get an idea of the next step because it's event based. I think is when you have any kind of optics, it has to be event based. It's not going to be time based. It's going to be event based.
It will, and then there'll be like a timeline of events.
See, apparently with this one, this guy's looking like he's saying that it looks like he's trying to. This ties into the EBS with what this writer was thinking. I don't know. It didn't pan out that way. It didn't happen the first time. I don't know, but he's basing this on the assumption that we were transitioning from the Gregorian to the calendar to the Julian calendar. I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence of that, but based on that theory, he's positive, putting some number shit together. But I don't know. I have to see some hard evidence of something going on behind the scenes before we can really make a claim one way or the other. I definitely see a lot of indicators that suggest a lot is going on, but nothing I can really lock down other than, and confirm anything other than point. Give me a pointer in a direction where we need to be looking. So there's a lot going on clearly, folks. What do you think, you guys? Well, we just don't know what it is. I don't think, right?
And then, okay. Go ahead. Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. And I think if people can take, the most important thing to take from this is to be prepared. Something is going to happen.
Agreed. That's kind of what we wanted to emphasize. We need to be prepared. Everybody has to be prepared. I thought it was important that everybody hear that so that if something does happen, you are at least aware of it before it happens. And if not, then great. No harm, no foul. No, we don't have to worry about it. But I would rather, like you said earlier, Jen, put out something that could help people be, to prepare themselves for something that might happen and be wrong about it, than not and be right about it, You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would hate to have valuable information like this and not share it and have something happen. I would be just as guilty as the rest.
I just thought this said requirements for an emergency broadcast system. I was about to say, oh, we got some protocol we can look at and see if any of the things. But no, it's talking about emergency breathing system. That is not what I typed in.
Here's a Reddit one.
I should have specified emergency broadcast system. Okay, let's try that. That was not what I expected, but I guess that acronym could be used for other stuff. I should have specified emergency.
Oh, right there. There's one. Well, the nation's emergency alert system.
Where? Which one?
Right where you're right up. You had your cursor right there.
This one?
No, above it.
This one?
Yes.
Oh, this is 2010. This looks like somebody's Oh, this looks like something relating to a presidential broadcast, like back in 2010. Because if you look at the date, it says Washington 2010. This looks like it's just a text file from the one of the government servers from an old file, probably archived. It looks like based on what I know on the tech field.
Okay.
Yeah, they do text versions of these hearings a lot of the time. And they archive them like that. Anyways, that was not what we were looking for. Interesting though. But good to know, useful to know information. If you don't know what you're looking at, you never know how you can find.
Creepy emergency broadcast alert hints at the end of the world.
Yeah, well, that was back in 2017. I don't think that's even related to what we're talking about.
Okay.
I don't know, folks. I mean, I would love to be able to verify something, but I don't think there's really any way we can. I just have to wait to see what happens, folks. But I definitely could feel like something shifting. I mean, with the level of corruption that we're seeing at the highest levels with the DOJ and the FBI, I mean, something's got to change. I mean, because we can't let this kind of corruption stand, folks.
No, I mean, there's something. We'll get it. We'll find out.
We will.
Not
and
tonight.
we will keep everybody updated if and when we find out more, and we'll keep everybody updated. But we want to keep people aware of stuff for sure.
Can you go all the way up to the top?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. There was something. Oh wait. Oh. Okay, here's event notification report for October 27, 20. I wonder. I'm just
interesting. Okay, good fun. Good catch. I didn't see that.
I knew I saw that.
Oh, that's the Minnesota Department of Health. Not what we're looking for either.
Well,
well, we don't know until we look, folks, right?
Then there was something else. If you scroll up about something about a U.S. Emergency something.
No, that's how old. This is old.
Oh.
Code of Federal Regulations. That's an old post.
Okay.
Not what we're looking for either. Yeah.
The storm is new. People should get only worse.
It's 2017. No, it's old. Let's see if we can only posts that are recent.
Oh, don't fall for. Okay. That was when that was when. Remember, they were talking about doing alert on people's devices. That never happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they have the ability to do that already. Like if you look at the national, when you get the emergency case, so the emergency broadcast system, whenever you have a weather alert or a Amber Alert, and you get those notifications on your phones, folks, that is one form of the EBS system. Okay. The only, it's funny. I hate the fact that you can't turn off presidential alerts for your EBS on your phone. It won't let you. I hate that shit. That shit drives me crazy. But because I usually have them off for everything. But if I could turn it off for everything else, I probably would. But it used to drive me crazy. I was like, why do I need to know about a weather alert? Like, hello, only important stuff. But yeah, though that's part of that. Like, so on your phone, it would come through with that little notification, hey, weather alert or Amber alert or whatever, or presidential notification alert, whatever. Like they have that already that implemented on our phone. So if there were to have one, we would get it. Oh, it's all right, Jessica. Or don't worry. Oh, whoa. Interesting. When I did it this way, a lot of other different shit came up.
How'd you do it different?
Oh no, that's fake. That's a fake ad. That's a fake ad. That's fucking bullshit. Yeah, I hate it when you get fucking bullshit like that on.
That was not Darkness of 10 Days.
No, it was a freaking bullshit It was clickbait, is what it was. It was freaking clickbait. Not what we were looking for at all.
No.
At all. All right. Well, you guys have any suggestions on search terms other than we covered what we wanted to for the most part. Dottie, are you still there?
Did you try emergency broadcast system?
I did. I put it in just like say it just like that.
Oh, okay.
Can you maybe say something like Trish, Telegram or something? Maybe include those.
Did you say her name was Trish? That was what she was going by on that audio?
Yes. Yeah, Trish.
Oh, okay. So this is interesting. This person is claiming this as well. So maybe this audio is actually in here.
The screen's frozen.
Oh, we got this. A lot is going on twice a day during estimate every week.
Looks like somebody did something similar to what we did, Dottie.
We just got finished with Genesis, meaning in the live meetings. Click it.
Anyways.
Hi, Ellie Weber, Kabbalah Guru. Welcome back to our channel, my dear friends and family.
Yeah, I know a lot. You can talk about the EBS all you want. I don't know. I would like to see hard evidence. I'm hoping we can find something that would be it. I think a good introduction that I want to give our viewers briefly is to Q News Patriot and SG Anon, who's dropped some pretty reliable stuff as of late as to what's going on here. I actually based some of the stuff we've done on the News for Us, not Fringe Vision, but Tips, Techniques, and Survival Traits. Some of that off of his intel and what he's dropped, and then some of what Clandestine has also dropped because he's been providing Clandestine especially has been providing a lot of great source links. That's where we got our MBCP briefing documents source links for that episode we did. But I want to just. Yeah, I'm gonna try to look for it, but I would like to if we could find out the name of that group or what group she's part of or something. That would be good lead. I will in a second. Let me look that right now. I'm not sure I know how to search for groups on Telegram just yet. Like at random.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me where did I put that at? Okay, here we go. Where do we go here? Where do we go now? Where do we go now? Where do we go now? Well, I'll tell you where we go when we go all. That's where. Okay, here's a promising lead. This person's name is Patricia. Looks like she has a Telegram channel. Let's see what we find here. Maybe we can find who this came from initially.
Yeah.
Who is this lady? We got to find out where her Telegram is if we can find it. So he said Telegram is great. So let's see if we would.
And she knew that guy. She knew that guy that was that they aged out in the video. They made him go from young to old, and he was doing a speech. Did she know him?
I'm not sure. No, I think she got it from somebody else, a source that knew that person. I don't think she knew him directly, but she got a source. Maybe she was her. I don't know. I don't think she. I think she was relaying this message on behalf of somebody that was in contact with this military person. So I think she was doing it third party on behalf of the person that was dropping the intel. Oh. And the first thing she says was protecting sources. So she was protecting her sources. And she said, protecting sources. I'm going to deliver the information. So that kind of indicated to me that it was a third party that was giving her the information, and that third party knew the military person.
Oh yeah,
referring to. That's what I like. That's why I like to be able to try and if we could find out who this lady is, maybe talk to her and maybe find out, or maybe even get some details on not even like who the source is, but like some background on that we could verify of some sort. We could kind of get an indicator,
Yeah.
So that was just I'm trying to find which is this group that's there. So obviously I'm thinking this could be the I don't know if they have. Let me see if they have their Telegram channel here. No, that's not what I want to do. I wanted to.
Those links I sent you are Telegram groups, but
yeah.
They say that 10 days of darkness and all that. So I thought maybe they would have the emergency broadcast system on them.
Right. That's just a link to that. It's not sharing this, just sharing the freaking link. God damn it. It's not what I wanted. I wanted the group. So would it be Steve Rotter or what? All right. So let me type in Steve Rotter Telegram. Let me try that. See what we can find. Oh my God. Couldn't find my there for a second.
And hey, I'm gonna look up a source that here. I'm gonna look it up and see if there's any connection.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, Jen. Yeah, no, that's just a commenter's name, so I don't think that was relating to the person who's brought. I think that was just a random result because of that matched up there with the comments. So let's go back and see what else we can find. But see, folks, that's how you use discernment and critical thinking and using your head and with tools that you have at your fingertips. Everybody's got a phone. Everybody can search on Google at any time they want. There's no reason. Oh, here we go. I wanted to bring that up. She said, oh, yeah. Oh, crap. I did not want to put that on the air. Not just yet. Yeah, no, I've already heard that, Jen. I thought it was another person even. But I got to protect our sources too first. You don't want people going and trolling people that may not, that are just for trying to deliver information. Like the last thing you want is people freaking, when you have a big following, you have a responsibility to be mindful of what you put out, so that people that are putting out don't get targeted a lot of the time, because that's what we see going on a lot. Go ahead, Jen.
Right. No. I wasn't saying to bring up this individual's name. I was going to go search and see if there was any Telegram channels connected with given this public announcement.
Yeah, see if we can do that. See, because here's what I noticed. Like somebody else got sent this too not too long ago. In one of the other Telegram groups, but from another Telegram group. So I know it's out there somewhere in Telegram. I can pretty sure of that, but I'm trying to find that group where it came from. you know, and use that as a starting point. So
Maybe you need a progesterone contraceptive rather than estrogen. And why did you?
what I want to do is I want to give you guys a little bit of insight into just an introduction to this guy right here, Cunus Patriot. His latest, this is dated yesterday or day before yesterday, but it's some good. So apparently large scale dams are being destroyed. I think what the lady was referring to, and it's hypothetically, if this was happening, when she meant the one, she said the water, that they would start in the water. I think she was referring to the underground, the underwater tunnels, the vacuum tube tunnels that are transports, like, you know, from one base to another. There's a lot of underground dams that we don't even know about, but they have tunnels and even data lines going across the ocean for our communications, for even transportation. But apparently these dams are supposed to be connected underwater to each other. Okay, so if you're gonna freaking take down all this, you know, deep state shit, what you're going to want to do is start in the water, because you're going to have to cut off that connection between continents. I think that's my take on what that lady was talking about. What do you guys think?
This is very urgent information, guys. Something big is happening.
Whose audio is that?
Sergei Shoigu.
That's me. Sorry, I was trying to figure out find that video.
Oh, it's all right. Just mute your mic if you're playing video so it doesn't come through on that. All right.
Yeah, my bad.
But what do you guys think about that supposition, about my theory on why it should be in the water? Well, what she was referring to, that's what I think she was referring to when she was talking about the water. It's starting in the water.
She was talking about the Navy.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, with what we know about all the underground dams being dams like DUMB, meaning deep underground military base, for those who don't know the acronym.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so all the dams apparently are connected. Like, a lot, we know that the military builds these underground bases, and then they're connected by vast networks of freaking tunnels and shit. So we know this. We know this for a fact, because we know a lot of shit. We know that they're connected under the water, at least some of them. A lot of these bases have high speed. It's like they're tunnels but they're vacuum sealed. So and they basically, it's a straight shot. It's freaking really high speed. It's like a bullet train, you know, like a maglev, like you have in Japan. But it's a transportation system for between these kind of bases, so you don't ever have to come up topside. You know,
cool.
That's how they transport a lot of the military equipment and stuff that they're doing. But the point being, if there's a lot of these military bases are being taken out, like the theory has been suggested, then if this was going to happen, if this EBS system announcement, and they were going to have the White Hats would make their move, the first thing they would need to do after is to clear off or cut off the transportation between the bases through those tunnels, and some of those are in the water. Also, there's communication lines in the water too for a lot of different military systems. So you got to keep that in mind too. That would be what you would do, I would think, if you would start off in the water and then go into each separate continent.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, you guys?
It does.
Okay, that's kind of how I took that when she's been mentioning the water. What do you guys think? What do you think about that, Jen? Well, while we're waiting, I'm going to play a little bit of this clip. I'm going to I don't play the whole thing because I know we're doing a live and I don't want to get too caught up, but I want to just give
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back
to this guy's information, because he's got some good points to make.
Back to the 20th audio file in the audiocast series known as the Q News Patriot. I'm the Q News Patriot. My name is SGN On. It is wonderful to be with you. We have such a fantastic little bit of information session for you all, and a little bit of a reflection session that we can listen to and enjoy. We're going to talk a little bit about just everything going on tonight. We have absolutely so much. It's becoming difficult for myself to keep up with everything, to be perfectly honest. We have comms flying every day from 45 at this point. We have Scavino comms every day, some of them a little bit more blatantly obvious than others. We have the Biden DOJ investigating Trump and stepping the rhetoric up with that. We have the J6 committee issuing a subpoena to the former president, current president, and everything that comes off of that. The exposure of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, also known as the Federal Bureau of Infiltration, is in full swing. The exposure is it's in the public space in a very big way at this point. We have news reports of U.S. forces in Europe. We have a little bit of credence to that, but not everything is as it seems. And we have some things going on in the underground world that we're going to talk a little bit about and reference. So without further ado, let's kind of get into it tonight, everyone. Tonight's show, we're not actually going to do any of the Truth Social decodes. Sometimes it's good to step back and have a little bit of a changed perspective. We keep our minds sharp, try to see things just a little bit differently. What I personally term flash changing, which is where you reorient your lens that you're currently using on a particular topic or subject or pursuit, whatever has your emotional and mental attention, and you switch up how you think or feel about it. That's just a personal term I have.
You guys hear that okay?
It's really helpful to do that as we walk through the no man's land that has
Just
been
making
the
sure.
last 2 years during this war.
Thank you.
For those that are, fairly new and excuse me, and coming on board maybe for the first time or, for the first few times, for those that have been coming around to the corruption, the criminality, the things just not making sense over the last 3 to 4 months, we're going to do a quick brief recap for you. The long story short is we have a worldwide mafia syndicate, a worldwide control structure that is entrenched in money, finance, power, government, economics, and law all around the world. This particular mafia has controlled how money is valued and how money is used, replicated, and circulated for many hundreds of years in the world. And so, to quote a gentleman named Meyer Amschel Rothschild, who I would refer all of the newly awakened individuals to go and do a little bit of homework with this particular individual. He's the most recent fork in the Rothschild banking dynasty from about 270 years ago. If I can use his quote, the quote goes, "Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws." And that is actually a fantastic summation of this entire elite Kabbalist power structure that the world is awakening to en masse. They are lawless, they are evil, and they are bent on world domination and forced population reduction, which is a fantastically polite way of saying mass genocide on a global scale. So for those of you who are, first, maybe this year for the first time coming around to things being not what they seem, understand that this power structure that has been, well, let me first say, things are not what they seem, and they have not been what they seem. Just about everything that you have learned or been told by the educational system, including graduate, master's, doctoral, and fellowship programs, as well as scientific research and academia and textbooks, things like that have been generated over the decades to support certain narratives. The nature of our earth, the nature of politics, the nature of your vote. Most of these have been a lie, or at the very least, an incomplete truth for most of your working and living life. The issue with voting became a very big, fraud became a very big issue in the United States elections back as early as the early 90s. We can go back even further than that, and we can find examples of fraud. Richard Nixon actually conceded a race at some point. The actual date escapes me. I would encourage each of you to go check, but he conceded a race, and I believe it was in Illinois, although I could be wrong, simply because it would have done more damage to the country to have informed Americans that there was systemic level fraud that was outcome determinative going on in those days. Excuse me. So just about everything that we have been told and that we have come to know as quote unquote true or just the way things are, that's actually not true or not the way things are. The history that we have been informed of has been written by the victor. The victor throughout the centuries has always been on this rock, or for at least most of mankind's first few modern ages, has all been the evil ones. And so for the first time in human history, we are at a point where the entire, you could call it the corrupt club, for lack of a better term, all around the world is being shown simultaneously for who and what they are. The Trump presidency of 2016 was the beginning of the end for them. For a little bit of clarification, from 2001.
Okay, pay attention, folks. This is the part that I think is important. I want everybody to understand in the context, because he's making some valid points here. I think are worth taking notes on and looking into.
Began a series of events where deep military intelligence and deep military patriots began outlining the final phases and implementing the final phases for a full worldwide takedown of this evil group. 9/11, 2001. While I have heard the rumors about, it was circulated by white hats and it was done by white hats, etc., I can tell you unequivocally that it was a black hat operation, and it had one main purpose and many side purposes that branched from the main purpose. The main purpose was to prevent the financial system of the world from being changed. There is a law signed by President Bill Clinton at gunpoint by special forces from the United States Army called the National Economic Security and Reformation Act. This law was buried by the Bush administration, and that burial process was completed with the appointment, confirmation, and seating of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, John Roberts. John Roberts is or has been implicated in an elite child trafficking scheme involving the former Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, and involving adoption agencies and CPS organizations in the United States. John Roberts.
Okay, did you guys hear what she just said? What he just said? Mike Pence and adoption agencies in connections to CPS in the United States. If that's true, that would explain why he didn't vote the way Trump wanted him to. Would it not?
And Pence is from Indiana, where I am.
Really interesting. Yeah. I did not know that. See what kind of stuff you can learn, folks, if you just listen. Like, I didn't pick up on that the first time I listened to this broadcast, but I heard that now, and that was interesting for the simple reason that a lot of the CPS family court corruption that we're covering, we're seeing a lot of governors. Mike Parsons, I believe is the name, in Missouri. We've uncovered a paper trail of evidence of him owning an adoption agency, which is conflict of interest.
Yes, in fact, I think there's a video. I'll have to see if I can find it. I saved it somewhere. You could see where I think it's President Trump is handing Mike Pence a letter.
Yes. When is it?
It was during, I think, one of his speeches. I don't remember. I can't recall the exact details around it.
Was it? Was it the kind of letter that they delivered at Bush Senior's funeral? The one they delivered to all those people that day, where everybody had that look of terror on their face when they seen it.
I don't.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, but it wasn't done at a funeral. It was done at when he gave his speech. I think it was when Nancy Pelosi ripped up, whatever he was reading. I can't remember what that was either. But I just remember.
Was it 2020 when this happened, or was this before that?
I believe it was 2020.
So when he didn't vote, when they were supposed to vote
yes.
on that whole thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I see what you're saying. That what I was getting at was what did he have a look on his face like those other guys, like like Jeb Bush had on his face when he got his letter? Was it that kind of a look? Is what I was getting at.
Well, it was kind of hard to tell the look on his face because it had you focus on their hands and the transferring of a document.
So they didn't really show his face when he received it. Then they kind of purposely didn't. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right.
No way to know. Okay.
They wanted you to focus mainly on how it was given from, or how President Trump had handed it to Mike Pence during that time.
Okay. But why wouldn't they show his face? Why would they focus on just the hand? I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense.
I'm not sure. I don't know, but I'm not sure why. I guess it was just the way that it was handed to him. Because it was really fast. I mean, I had to watch it about 4 times to really.
Yeah, but you didn't get a facial reaction from him reading it, did you? On camera. That's what I was getting at.
No, I did not.
Okay, the reason that was relevant because the theory is. Now, Trump has said this many times, and I'm not saying I know this for a fact. That's what I've heard. But apparently, I've heard him say it a couple times on a couple clips. Don't quote me on that. I don't even know if that's legitimately him. Could be deep fake. Who knows? There's also a lot of that out there, so people need to be thinking about that. Type in deep fake and look at how far technology's come. You need to do a full on CGI, almost identical, and it's not even the real person. But it can make a video look like somebody's saying something. I mean, so think about that. But the point I was getting at, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying, Jen?
You were talking about when they were all handed letters.
Yeah. Okay, got you. All right, yeah. No, the point I was making is the theory is that he said that they had everything, right? So evidence of everything: sex trafficking, laundering, crimes against humanity, complicity in 9/11, possibly. Okay, but the point is that the look that these folks had on their faces, and I think the Clintons were there too, when these letters were handed to them, were looks of sheer terror. It was very similar to the look that Jara had on his face on the meeting we had 2 weeks ago, on the 13th, when my buddy said, "Hey, we're streaming to the local state and fed." That look of sheer terror. So that's what I was getting at. Could we confirm that the letter, I was trying to see if there was a reaction we could gauge to compare to that. Because if we could, I was going to say, that would explain. But if that's the case, what he said about that CPS connection, that would explain a lot. Let us finish listening to what he has to say, and then we'll wrap it up after his point that he's talking about here, like the next 10 minutes. Because I don't want to keep it too long, but I want to give people an intro to this guy's information because he makes some valid points that corroborate some stuff that I've already seen on my own doing the CPS family court corruption issue, folks. That's why I think that's relevant. So I think it's important to listen and pay attention to details because sometimes you might come across something that will corroborate something that you suspected or weren't sure about, but it'll add to the data points, folks. And then you use as many, if you can find more and more data points to corroborate a piece of information, you can Occam's razor. If you have more of things independently corroborating something, you can. There are pretty good chances there's some validity to it. If not, then you can't, then you don't know. Either you don't know or there's not validity to it. But either way, that's how you figure shit out on your own, folks. Just looking for shit, just like we did tonight.
Roberts is also a Knight of Malta, formerly, now that that particular brotherhood has been dissolved, and a Jesuit. So between the Bush administration of 2000 to 2008, the appointment of several corrupt Supreme Court justices beholden to a deep state agenda between 2004 and 2014, and then the presidency of Hussein Obama from 2008 to 2016. That entire period of time in the United States was not reflective of the will of the people. President Obama cheated his way to victory in 2012, and George W. Bush cheated his way to victory in 2004, 2005. So, excuse me. So understanding that the will of the people and the direction of the country have been divergent for a very long time. The military was ready as early as 2011 to begin enacting a process to forcefully remove Barack Obama. The military had evidence going all the way back to before 2000, and certainly through the first decade of 2000, to implicate them and their whole group in treason, sedition, crimes against humanity, children, etc. Those things that we have come to know, unfortunately, to be much more true than we wanted to believe. However, that plan was tabled when the military reached out to several patriotic billionaires who had, excuse me, who had celebrity appeal, likability with the people, and obviously were not beholden to other interests. The man who agreed to run for president of the United States was Donald J. Trump. The presidency of Donald J. Trump beginning in 2015 during the campaign and leading through 2016 and then up to 2018 and 2020, that entire period of time was the unfolding of the first large operational phase of a years-long military coup in the United States. The option was to remove the traitors from all levels of government, so including Congress, the bureaucracy in DC, all of the federal agencies, many of the state agencies, many state governments, including governors, the president of the United States at the time, and as well as his entire administration, and approximately 40% of the United States military as well. So the option was to do all of that by force and risk throwing the country and the entire world into a conflict that simply could not keep the lid on, or to do so as quietly and covertly as possible, having the power of the lawful executive of the United States. The NSA monitored the election of 2016. The NSA helped to unrig and ensure that the election of 2016 went to the appropriate and correct winner. That individual, as we all know, was President Donald J. Trump. If you look at the Trump presidency from an outsider's perspective, just with a broad lens, and you examine the actions, documents, and travels, meetings, etc., that occurred during the Trump presidency, what you discover is it was not just an American president who was America first, wanted to put the country first, wanted to, contribute to the rest of the world in an appropriate and meaningful way. You also find out or see that it was an enormous fortification period. The country was made ready for siege under President Trump. The election infrastructure was fortified. The authority of the executive of the United States was leveraged to allow for certain laws to be pre-lifted, altered, or reapplied according to executive order, Article 2 of the United States Constitution, and a litany of U.S. code and case law that allowed for the President of the United States to ensure that the country could withstand the type of cleaning operation which we have been going through for not quite 2 years now, and we are going to enter into a much more public and much more impactful phase of that soon. So the 4 years that President Trump was in office, he met with world leaders, helped to form what we call the Q Alliance or the Q Patriot Alliance. There is a worldwide military operational there is worldwide operational coordination going on between militaries. I checked a flight radar tracker today and found 10 separate world militaries represented in the airspace above the United States, including a Hungarian aircraft that was within 100 miles of Washington, D.C. If you check those same sort of flight trackers in other countries, you find U.S. National Guard, U.S. Navy, etc., in areas that it almost makes no sense. So there is an operation going on around the entire Earth, coordinated and connected with patriots from all of our countries who have agreed to step in and do the heavy lifting for us to help save humanity. Our job as awakening digital warriors is to take that gift that was given to us, that gift of sight and that gift of protection and safety, even though we may not feel it in the public space because of the mainstream media programming. We're still fighting that MK Ultra programming. We need to appreciate the fact that we have been, for the most part, protected. I understand and I feel for each of you if you have lost individuals from the COVID bioweapon kill shots. I have lost 2 family members one family member and one friend from those kill shots. I have had several other friends maimed. That is unfortunately a price of war that I do not have an explanation for why it has been paid, but I do know that all explanations will come as we go through the second and third phases of this operation and finish the reconstitution period that the citizens of the United States are currently living through. Now, this is conflict. This is the battle for the destiny of the earth. This is the battle for the future of mankind. This is the battle to take back the governments that have wronged you so egregiously. In the United States of America, at least, and in many other countries around the world also, individuals who are known by the vast majority of the general population to not be legitimate have been making decisions and pulling levers of power that have affected you painfully in everyday walks of life. They've affected your work, your school, your personal safety. They have affected your religious rights, your right to worship, to communicate and exchange. They have shuttered your free speech. They have planned your mass murder, and they have assisted in wholesale terrorism and government toppling in other nations as well. This is a disgusting swamp that we are in process of draining and removing. And so with that, I would encourage each of you to appreciate that, the plan was to force us all into lockdowns for 3 to 5 years, and then make the only condition of coming out of lockdown be this forced vaccination campaign. This forced vaccination campaign tied directly into the weaponization of a technology called 5G. 5G in and of itself is a frequency range that can be harmful or helpful depending on who is controlling the emitters and the receivers. The technology itself, as it was designed to be a mass murder weapon, because it was designed to shred your blood cells. The COVID vaccines contained various substances that are toxic to the body. Some of those substances can actually be activated and controlled with 5G frequencies.
Real quick, folks, I have some video of this self-assembling nanotechnology actually functioning in a lab setting that I came across from before any of this shit went down, the whole COVID thing. I think it's like circa 2017, 2019, something like that. But it corroborates what claims have been made about this tech that's being in this shot, folks. And this is very real, because there's been patents on using frequency to activate these self-assembling nanoparticles. And because the whole point of the lab setting was that they were showing that the feasibility of these self-assembling nanoparticles that could assemble themselves into circuits to function, literal circuits. And that's And so the frequencies will activate them doing that in such a way. And so we don't know what kind of effect it would have on the human body. It would probably, like you said, shred freaking blood cells. But that's what I want to point out. Like, I've seen the actual lab setting videos of these experiments, and it's very real. I know we have the technology to do this because of the CRISPR-Cas9 technology that's been around since 2011. So people need to know the context of that. I think we're going to do a follow-up to this soon. And I'm going to share that video for you guys, as well as some that Jen has for us of apparently special ops saving children from underground dumps. So we will do a follow-up on this topic and see what we can corroborate from that angle, and see if we can corroborate any of that information as far as the dumps go. We have a few data points there where we can point to that seem to indicate certain things are going on. So anyways, this should be interesting.
And
let me play the rest of this guy's what he's finishing saying, and then we'll wrap it up, folks.
Made to behave certain ways. Nanotechnology has also been present in many of those kill shots, especially from Pfizer and Moderna. And so that was yet another angle that this was going to play out towards, a mass depopulation, and those that survived would lose their free will. If you think about it, your thoughts, your ability to think and direct is a neurochemical process that occurs at the pleasure of your spiritual nature, but cannot happen without physical changes in your electrochemical and just chemical transmitter makeup in your body, in your head. And so these shots were designed to help interfere with that and to give them control over those electrochemical processes. They were literally going to hijack your ability to think for yourself.
The term is called biohacking, folks. For those who aren't aware of what that he's talking about, it's called biohacking.
So this worldwide alliance has that President Trump and many other world leaders formed has undertaken the largest task of bringing to justice the teeth of this power structure, while simultaneously informing.
Whoopsie, my thumb hit the back button on my freaking
informing the entire population of the world and the free peoples of the world just what was going on, what almost happened to them, and how we can move forward from here as civilization. And so I know that that's all very serious, but I want to come back to the reality that we have right now. The reality that we have right now, excuse me, is that President 45 and the Commander-in-Chief is walking lighter and freer and faster than ever. He is looking healthy and happy. He is symbolically very strong at all of his rallies. 45 is very well insulated and protected by the military. The United States government, the fake United States government, is continuing its long-term implosion process. We have individuals in the United States government that were planted by our side to be called upon at a particular time when duty called, to play their role and their part, and they've done so. We also have a Judas goat that we implanted in that black hat side, on the black hat side of the fence, known as Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris. That administration is designed to cripple the American deep state apparatus and simultaneously show it for what it is to the American people. I would argue with you that a great deal of you are here now because you began experiencing an inordinate and nonsensical amount of pain under Joseph Biden in an extremely rapid period of time. And so because of that sort of rapidness, it causes one to question the programming which we've all been given our entire lives. Our fear-based programming gives way to confusion. Confusion can break through fear because confusion is a very logical process. It engages the part of the brain that is needed to assess critical thinking and cognition, and to make evaluated decisions. And so in a way, Joe Biden may go down in history as the worst US president, but one of the greatest things to happen to the awareness of those patriots and citizens in the United States of America who really just want to live their life and be left alone, but they want their votes to count. So all of that being said, that should catch us up a little bit for those that are coming on board over these last few months. I thank you very much for your courage. This is the hardest time to be awakening. We have a large amount of stuff in the public space that we're going to talk about a little bit tonight. We have a large amount of stuff in the private space that most of which I'm not privy to, but I'm going to share just a little bit of what I am privy to this evening. And we'll end on an encouraging note.
Okay, folks, I'm going to let you guys, I'm going to put this in the description, but we're going to wrap it up. I don't want to go into the whole thing. I want you to check, you can check out his video if you like, but I wanted to finish that point he was making about what he thinks is going on. And I concur with him on many different points. I definitely think just the level of absurdity and obviousness that's going on. I think there's definitely some sort of op going on. Definitely something's being exposed for sure. You know, I don't know if that's due to just pure freaking overconfidence on the part of those perpetrating it. Could it be, or could there be something larger going on? I don't know. I don't think anybody's that stupid to be that obvious with their moves. I mean, it kind of looks to me like that's been forced. I don't know. It's just my take on it, but interesting. I mean, there's definitely a lot going on. We definitely got people in power trying to provoke a war. It looks like to me, which is the last thing we want. We need unity in mass on a global scale, and that's it. We, the people of Earth. We, the people of planet Earth, united as one, declare from this day forth, no force, however big or small, shall ever divide the spirit of humanity again. And I want to leave it on that note. I think that's a great way to wrap it up. And thank you guys for jumping on. It's been a great night, a great show. I appreciate you guys all jumping on and bearing with me through last night. And help me get this out the way I wanted to present it tonight. Thank you very much. I wanted it to be an educational experience so people can see how they can search for stuff themselves and take notes from listening to audio, video, whatever. But, you know, these are some tools that will help you empower yourself, folks. That's what this is all about. We're a teaching platform. We want to educate people on how to take their power back, how to use discernment, how they can use the tools that they have already at their disposal to empower themselves and even start becoming their own, you know, citizen journalists if they want. I mean, anybody can do this stuff. This information is out there. The whole launch article we did, I found all of that on open source internet, all open source information right out in plain sight. And I was able to verify virtually 98% of that documentary pandemic indoctrination. That says a lot. If I can do that with that, anybody can find any of that information. I just put it together in a place where everybody can see it on one page. But this information's out there, folks. That's the whole point. The only people that aren't in the know or are aware of things are those that aren't looking. So that's the whole point. It's obvious. They're not hiding it at all. So people start looking. We need to start digging this shit up and calling it out and exposing it. And that's kind of what we do here. So thank you very much, everybody, for participating. And we will get back to you. We're going to have our Sunday show. And then I think we'll resume the tips, techniques, and survival traits and the Fringe Division podcast on Wednesday and Fridays. This upcoming week, I have some stuff I want to put together. It's been a busy few weeks for me, folks. So I took a break from those two so I could do other work, like such as covering the school boards and the stuff. But I wanted to wait till we had some good content to show you guys for both of those. And we have, there's a lot going on. So we're going to definitely be doing a follow up on the Ukraine issue, you know, to our Ukraine coverage that we covered in. Can't remember which episode it was. It was the NBCP briefing documents episode we covered on tips, techniques, and survival traits. So we're going to do a follow up to that, and then I think we're going to do I don't know. We're gonna do a introduction to the Dan Burst Information Project Looking Glass on Fringe Division Wednesday's Fringe Division podcast. So that'll be a good show because I don't think there's been a lot of references to Looking Glass. In fact, even in that audio, that lady was saying, you know, we don't need Looking Glass technology. We have it in our DNA. She was referring to the Looking Glass technology that I've heard mentioned many times. So that's what we're going to start cover. I'm going to give everybody an introduction to that because I've heard that term being brought up quite a lot in this. You know, a lot more than usual. So I want to give people an introduction to that information because this is solid. You know, there's points of corroboration, and it's important to understand what's really going on, even if some of it, you know, a lot of it's misinformation, you can always find kernels of truth that you can verify outside of that, and you can piece together how much of something is true and how much of something isn't by doing that. And so you can look at any data like that, but you have to be able to corroborate stuff. That's the whole point. If you can't corroborate it, then you don't have any evidence to back it up. The whole point of corroboration is to back up your claim.
That's right.
So, with that being said, good night, everybody. That was a great show. I appreciate everybody jumping on, and I hope everybody learned something. That was kind of the point, and I know I did. What about you guys?
Yeah, thank you too.
All right, everybody have a good night. And apologies for losing my temper yesterday. I was not a good day for me. But it happens. Nobody's perfect. Good night, everybody.
Nobody's perfect.
Thank you guys for bearing with me, and I want to say thank you for everybody on that's also part of the team that may not be core team members on all the signal chats or signal groups that we communicate on. Listen, we're all working together. The whole point is to protect these kids. That's what we're fighting for. So regardless of our differences or our disagreements, I think that the point that we can all work together, we need to all work together and try and help bring awareness and change is the whole point. Because it's not about us; it's about the kids. It's about saving the kids that are the real victims of this kind of corruption.
That's right.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, have a good one.